Welcome to Armchair Expert. I'm Dan Rather, and I'm joined by Monica Mouse.
How much restraint are you going to have?
I got it. I just got a little case of the giggles.
Church giggles?
Church giggles, yeah. An old friend is here today. One of the most amazing singers I've ever heard in my life. Biggest chills I've ever had induced by singing.
Yes, she's incredible.
She's a beast. And who is that incredible singer, Monica?
Idina Menzel.
Oh, Idina. We love Idina.
She was really, really fun. I've met her a little bit in passing, but we've never had a real conversation. Mm-hmm. So I expected, I don't know why, a little bit more buttoned up, but she was super fun and cool.
And chill and down to earth.
Yep, loved her.
I love her. She has many great albums. Here, Still I Can't Be Still. I Stand, Holiday Wishes. She has a new album out now called Drama Queen, which has a ton of really cool disco-inspired music. It's really fantastic. And she also has a new children's book out on September 22nd called Proud Mouse.
Proud Mouse, ding, ding, ding.
A nod to Monica Mouse. Please enjoy Idina Menzel.
He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert.
How did you all meet?
Well, we had mutual friends. A long, long time ago. We had mutual friends.
Bye, so much.
Bye, baby.
Bye, Delty. Oh, Wobby Wob even
Oh,
gets
Wobby Wob gets a hug.
Man.
Great day.
Just made five people's
everyone.
days.
Seriously.
We had mutual friends, so I would see them at parties and stuff, but I didn't really know them. And then I booked an episode of House of Lies, a role as her assistant. And she was like, I know you. And we chatted that day. And then I said, I also babysit, because that's really how I was making money at the time. Uh-huh. And she had just had Lincoln. And so like a week later, they asked if I would come date night babysit. So then I started doing that. And then they brought me on more full-time. Then I was full-time nanny. And then they got old enough to leave the nest to preschool.
Right.
And then I took on the role of Kristen's assistant.
How was that for you?
Do tell. She's an incredible boss. I will say.
I'm sure she's boss lady.
I know. But she's a good boss. One of our earliest fights, Dax and I's earliest fights. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's
one
what we
of
specialize in. That's why we started this together.
Time.
Yeah. My hobby was finding Monica in the house and starting an argument with her because we both love to debate things.
Debate is different than fighting.
Well,
they
we do
start
both.
as debates and then they turn.
Yeah.
Whereas I was at the point where I wouldn't really even debate with him anymore. I was like, you know what? I don't want to dance. I'm not here for this.
Right.
She'd already done enough. One of our first fights was he referred to me as the nanny on somebody else's podcast. And I listened and he was telling a story. No, I'm sorry, babysitter. We have this babysitter and blah, blah, blah.
And I've been trying to get her to do mushrooms. I think that was the whole point of the thing.
Yeah. And I said, she never refers to me as the babysitter or nanny or any sort of in the help position. She's always like, this is my friend. Or then she started calling me her external hard drive, but she would never even say, this is my assistant.
That's the truth.
But it meant so much. I really keep that in the back of my head now.
That's easy to sympathize with. Do you want to hear my rebuttal?
Yes.
Okay. I'm on a show. I'm trying to be funny. It's not funny if I try to get my friend to do mushrooms. Anyone would do that.
Right.
To try to get your babysitter to do mushrooms is obviously a whole other provocative
She
layer.
needs to serve the material.
And then my own vanity was I didn't want to say nanny because I still felt like we got shamed if people knew we had a
feel
nanny.
that way. What about I have a Manny, but now Walker's 14, and neither of them like the way that sounds. So he's now uncle.
That's
Which he is. He's a
That's
family
nice.
member, but he's too cool to be Manny.
Yeah.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
And-
So, but I
Oh,
haven't
you're sorry
offered him
for-
mushrooms.
May I
Or
recommend
force
it?
them on
Because
him.
ultimately we did convince her to do it and she appreciated the
I'm
experience.
sure. With your kids around?
They were
I
in
was part of the
charge.
babysitting experience.
No, it was much later after she left the role as caregiver. She
Right.
get bumped up on shrooms.
Yeah.
Right. I had requested to do shrooms for my 40th birthday.
I did them for my 50th. Are we allowed? We're both going to talk about, you never think twice about the things you say that aren't, well, we can't talk about the
well, who
thing
can
that we're
prove
in
it?
together.
We're comedians. How can we could be making this up?
So
No.
often I say things and I have to be like, earmuffs. You know what I mean?
Oh, to your
for our
kids.
brand, for what Kristen and I, the thing we can't talk
the-
about.
No, we're not
Yeah.
here to
No.
talk
The
about the
big
brand.
elephant
Yeah.
in the room that we cannot talk about
Exactly.
today.
But the point being is that sometimes I don't have the sensibility of how old are we? 14, 15 with very skinny arms and a little bit of boobage.
Right.
And I'm a
little bit of boobage.
52-year-old woman that has a life with a
wise-
hot husband, and I like to talk about things, and I don't like to talk about alcohol or drugs, you know.
I think
'cause
that's more important that you're
that we're
authentic.
real. Yeah, but it's
yes.
also important that we make that money that we can send and leave to our children.
I like
Agree.
that. That's honest.
I love the honesty.
Yes. I get that.
That's
You don't
all.
want to kill the golden goose.
I've only said one
Kaleidoscope.
thing that got me in trouble on a press tour.
Say it again.
I was referring to some of the early works of the brand.
Oh, yeah.
I said publicly that when we read Sleeping Beauty or Snow White, I just politely add, and then he kisses her to wake her up. But obviously, no one should ever kiss you when you're sleeping unless you consent. Because I thought that was an important part of the story.
Yes.
Let's be honest, though. Only Ben Shapiro didn't like it, and he wrote a little thing about it. But I don't think anyone at Disney was upset.
But I would also
That's
say,
true.
people would ask me all the time, does your son love that you sing? And I'd say, no, he doesn't really want me to sing ever right now. Oh,
Right.
when you sing that song that I'm trying not to talk about,
Yeah.
you know, and I say, no, he hates the song.
Yeah.
And then they told me, could you please stop going on
saying
press
that he
tours and
hates
saying
it.
your son-
Oh, but it's the
So then you'll see there was a
truth.
fine line between when we talked about it, Kristen, and then I'd be like, my son loves it. He just loves going. Oh,
Wait, I have said the
He's
same
the
thing.
only boy in his class who still
just
sings it
loves
proudly
it.
on
Yeah.
top of his desk.
I've said the same thing that my girls don't like it when I sing, or maybe I wasn't referring to a specific song. One time I was referring to the perhaps inequality or marginalization of some of the writing and or voice actors in early works. And I was told, you know what?
No
Let's
need
not
to
talk
shine
about
a
the early
light.
works.
Yeah.
And I was like, but don't we learn from the early works?
Yeah.
Don't we have to be able to see where we've come from?
So here's where I might diverge. And this is the funny thing about our current life is that all four of us were on the same page. We're on the same page. I can see some merit in, hey, every time you bring up this new property that is empowering, you're not obligated to drudge through all the misfires from the past.
If I were bringing it up in every single interview, of
Yeah.
course. I think I was telling a very specific story about how this wasn't that.
I also think it's okay to, even if it wasn't every single one, if that is meaningful to you, of I'm very happy to be a part of a thing that's evolved, then you should totally be able to say that.
Yeah, I guess I end up.
Disney.
No, I love Disney.
No
It's provided
way.
so
No,
much,
we
so
love
much
Big Papa.
happiness.
I said it.
Yeah, I
Oh
love
my
Disneyland
God. I'm kidding,
and Disney
Love
World.
you.
I also just want to say, to clarify, it's not like it's coming from any specific credo. It's just a sweet publicist that's with us that's trying to maintain the integrity of the interview and of her or his job position as well. So it's like, oh, steer away from that. I'll tell you this, though. When you walked in, Delta reminded me, because I said, oh, do you remember Idina? And you haven't seen her in a while. And she said, the last time I saw you, I was like, I don't know, 7?
Yeah.
And she's 8 now. So it was a while
A year
ago.
is a very long
And she was like, we called you from a store, didn't we? And then I remembered there was one time we were in a store shopping for jeans for them or something. For some reason, I had been explaining the plot line of Wicked to them. It's a confusing plot line.
be.
And backstory and ancillary characters. And I was getting all tangled up.
Especially if you just done shrooms the night before.
Honest to
Right.
God.
With your best friend / maybe sometimes a babysitter.
So I said, hold on. They were getting angry at me that I didn't know the plot line correctly, and we had been listening to the music, and they were like, but what does it mean when she says that? So I FaceTimed Idina, and we all sat down in the middle of the store, and Idina attempted to clarify
I did
the
pretty
plot.
good, right?
You did do pretty
It's
good.
kind of hard when I just jump in after how many years. you
Right. I was
know?
like, wait, so when you finally got to Oz and and you broke it down, it was
Yeah.
very helpful. And Delta's like, so thanks for doing that.
Oh. Do you still get asked tons of questions about Wicked?
yeah, not plots. Usually.
That's so
Not-
rare
That's
occurrence
very
where someone wants
specific.
the nitty gritties of the second act. Well, here's something that's funny from my point of view that happened is that I don't know how long did you do that show? 15 months maybe?
Yeah, and a year and a half, and then I went to the West End and did it.
Before you did that, in the second to last show of the run,
You think this is funny?
not to you at all. As is never the case when someone eats shit. But you had a scary accident. Yeah.
I did.
Second to last show?
Yeah.
You're thinking you're out there for a couple victory laps, I gotta imagine, right? You've already won the Tony at this point for it.
Many months already. Final weekend, family's in town. They're going to throw me a farewell party, everything. And it was emotional because that was a very transformative time in my career, in my life, everything. Yeah, there's this place on the stage where towards the end of the show, Elphaba, the Wicked Witch, quote unquote, melts behind a scrim in theater talk that's like a sheet that they bounce light off and shadows and
It's a
cool
sheet
stuff.
that they call a shim. Yeah.
A scrim. I think it's a scrim. Yeah. And every night I'd have to stand on this sort of 2x2 square on the floor, which actually was a floor that would descend. It was like a little elevator thing. Trap door. Sorry.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. Dorothy would throw water and you'd see it in a shadow. So it was very abstract and cool. And I would have to literally go, melting. That kind of look, like physicality. You couldn't hear me going melting, but and I do that.
Oh, so you
and
actually
they would
wouldn't
go down.
You wouldn't scream, I'm melting.
No,
You added that
'cause-
for the
yeah,
listener. Okay,
yes.
perfect.
That's good. It is an
Yeah,
audio
yeah.
show.
Yes,
so
yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Usually the floor would go down like 5 feet. So I'd go down, 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 down. Some crew guy would be there to welcome me and make sure I was safe. And it was on automation, so like a computerized thing that triggers it to go down. That night, somebody was subbing out. They had moved that cue up.
Oh, no.
So it was already down. So it was an empty hole. Is what I'm saying.
And it's dark.
So
You can't
it's dark.
see.
So I just stepped into it.
No.
And I fell. I hit the side, my ribs on the side. So I was hanging like head above, strong arms holding, like feet dangling. And so
Oh my
then they
God.
pulled me out, up on the stage,
Okay.
not down. I unmelted.
I'm reconstituting. I'm solidifying.
Talk about a
Do you know what
plot
unmelted is?
No.
Frozen.
Frozen.
Oh,
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So then they pulled me out. I really thought I had punctured my lungs or something. Because they say when you break your ribs, you can. Because I really was having a hard time breathing. And so all the crew guys, I'd known them for so long. And I used to play poker with them between shows and matinee days. I mean, they were my guys, you
Yeah.
know. And I'm saying guys because they were all guys.
Yeah.
So I'm laying there. I'm in full green makeup in my Act 2 dress. I found out later at the time, this is 20 years ago, it was worth like $18,000. I'll tell you why I found that out. So I'm laying on the ground. I hear them go, is there a doctor in the house? Like the whole stereotypical thing. They were all standing around me. It was almost like I was having a baby and all the crew guys like, you're going to be okay, dear. Come on.
Were you
Stay with
underneath
us."
the stage at this point?
No, they
They've
pulled me
hoisted
out.
her
Remember,
out of
I
the hole.
melted.
You're on stage. They
So
paused
I'm
the
laying
show.
like, yes, they paused
They
the show.
paused the show. Okay, I didn't
Yeah.
get
And
that.
is there a doctor in the house?
Yeah, everyone's around me. Joby, my best friend, kind of like Monica, my dresser from every show I've ever done, and then who became my assistant. She was there. The doctor came up.
From the audience.
From the audience.
So we don't really know that he's a doctor or she's a doctor.
It could be
be
anyone
a
that decides, let me
podiatrist.
come meet Idina Menzel. I'll just say I'm a doctor.
Adina, it'd be me. I know it's like, okay, there aren't any doctors, but I know a pretty good deal about this stuff.
And it's Bono. I might as well go help Bono
Tonight.
Long story short, all I was concerned about, I remember, was the fact that they were going to wheel me out on a gurney and they're going to be paparazzi and fans out there and see me in like green makeup with my wig kind of like and the expensive dress, which then I asked when we got to the host hotel to the hospital. I said they tried to turn me in traction, I guess. Is that what you call it? Like so that they wouldn't move my spine. I remember these three big guys they asked at the hospital, like, turn me over. And I said, fuck that. They're making billions of dollars this show. Just cut me out of this.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, Joby actually, who was my dresser, knew what things were worth and actually really cares about the clothing.
Good for her.
She was like, well, it is a very expensive dress. I was like, take this fucking thing off
Yeah,
of me.
whatever. You're like
Yeah.
dying.
And then I felt like we were the red tent or something where all the women came around with a bowl of Neutrogena and water so they could try to get the green off of me as the morphine was
you're
going
at-
into my body.
You're in the ER
I'm in the
full
ER,
green
waiting to
makeup.
be taken
Oh
into
my gosh.
x-rays.
By the way,
they're-
someone's there because they've consumed too many drugs. That's standard in an ER.
Oh, yeah, someone
It's
else.
standard.
Exactly.
New York City.
Yeah, of course.
12, 13 people in the waiting room were having
I
too
know.
much. They watched a monster go by. Literally,
get
somebody
it.
was like, I gotta see someone. I think I'm dead.
Oh my God. Exactly. Well, and the stupid jokes everyone made, including my father, who was in town. So he came and was like, oh, you're not looking too good, honey. Really, thank you, Daddy.
Oh my God.
And then the
Dad
other thing
joke.
is my ex, is Tay Diggs.
Yeah.
So he was in a movie at the time, so nobody could find him. And he finally comes in, and all of these nurses freaked out that he
Sure.
showed up. And they were wheeling me to the x-ray area. And they literally dropped the files, the clipboards or whatever. They left me in the middle of the hallway, and they start freaking
Fawning
out
over.
about
Oh
him.
my God.
And I
his
said, look,
handsomeness.
ladies, if you could just finish up with me, I will make sure that you get
You
to
get
meet
some time.
my husband.
You were like, ladies, I get it. But after 12 years, you'll get past it. Let's get these x-rays going.
And then they finally got me out of the dress, found out I had just broken one rib, and the doctor gave us instructions for what to do when we got home, and the Percocet or the Vicodin, I don't remember what it was. And then she said, so just get her dressed and you can bring her home. And I was like, get dressed in what? I came here in a fucking witch's costume.
Yeah.
I had no clothes. So they put me in scrubs.
scrim?
Scrubs.
Scrub, that's right. Some paparazzi saw me high off my ass with scrubs on. And
Wow. A little bit of green.
Putridy green, because it doesn't come off unless you really do a good steamy shower with the proper cleanser.
Oh my God.
Yeah. To tie it all together, then the next day, I could barely move. And then the director, producer all said, look, we really want to send you off and have some closure. Can you get to the theater? We want to at least bring you out for the curtain call. And we wanted to say something to you. I was like, I'll try. And, you can't fart or pee or shave your legs, your ribs. They start you start getting
Laughing's the
spasms.
worst.
It's hard
Coughing.
laughing. And so Tay bought me, because he's such a good dresser, is always thinking style. He buys me this red Adidas tracksuit so that it was soft and easy to kind of
So
just
that you'd look like
put
Tony
on.
Soprano. Yeah. He thought, you know what, she should definitely look like Tony Soprano for the end of this Wicked thing.
So that's how I came out. My lovely cover came out of the show in the last 2 minutes at the exact time where I had fallen. And so just when she's supposed to come back alive, remember now I'm descending and it's like I melted and everyone thinks I'm dead. But at the end, you find out she's not dead. She ran away with her scarecrow lover.
Spoiler alert, if you're thinking about going back to 2003 and
That's the
seeing Wicked.
plot.
Yes.
That's it.
That's what had you and Delta so confused.
She graciously allowed me to steal the end of her show
Oh
to
my
come
God.
back on stage in my red tracksuit. The place goes crazy. I can't even sing because you can't project, you can't do any sound.
Although you're pretty bumped up on perks, you can
But
do more
this
than
is
you
what
should.
I sound like. So the end you go, because I knew you. And I couldn't sing it. So I was like, because I knew you.
Oh, I was like Phantom of the Opera.
How is that Phantom of the Opera?
I've never
I'm supposed
seen
to
it,
be
but
like,
isn't there a Phantom?
No,
No,
but
isn't the guy like, oh, so,
Yeah.
oh, I'm a
he doesn't
Phantom?
know
down.
any.
Yes,
He doesn't
I
know
was low.
anything about musicals.
I don't know
so
a lot
just,
about music.
Oh, you
But
should have
presumably the
heard-
Phantom sings in a deep voice.
He
no?
does.
Okay,
You should
were-
have heard the last fact check when I was saying something about Frida Kahlo. And he said, oh, isn't that the person who sings Don't Cry for Me, Argentina?
Oh my God,
Yeah.
Evita.
Yeah.
Well, and then we
I was
figured
confusing
out,
my Selma Hayek.
Yeah. Selma
Pictures.
Hayek. We took like 6 minutes for you to try to figure it out when I was like,
Yeah.
Selma
that's the
Hayek was
painful.
not in Evita,
She was in
the movie
Frida.
even.
Okay.
Frida, yeah.
So-
Yeah,
which
that
is
was,
Oh,
not-
You said you're
was-
confusing
Madonna.
some of
Madonna.
You're confusing
Don't
And then
cry
Glenn
for
Close
me.
on Broadway, right?
very
Right?
confused.
Yeah.
Close on Broadway?
Wasn't she?
No. Patty LuPone.
Oh, sorry, Patty LuPone.
Yeah. No.
I'm thinking of. Oh my God, what
Getting
are
her
Oh my
That was
God,
like saying-
Kristen.
Cut that out.
You know what that was like? Someone going like, yeah, no, the 3 guard for the Bulls. Yeah, Michael Jordan. That's how deep nerd it got. Like, what are you talking? Scottie Pippen, no, Jordan was.
Sorry, sister.
Anyway, did the red tracksuit, came out, was lovely, gave me flowers. They said all these beautiful things. I went to the closing party they threw for me. I sat in a banquette as people came up to me, and I don't remember any of that.
Again, very Tony Soprano style. Just
Yeah,
sit and
exactly.
have them approach and ask for favors.
And then apparently this red tracksuit became a thing because just a couple nights ago, I had my release party for my disco album I have out called Drama Queen. And instead of me having to perform at it, it was out in a Brooklyn gay club called $3 Bill. We had all these drag queens perform my stuff, my
Fun.
new stuff on the album, which was amazing and generous of them because they had to learn the lyrics. But then some of the other things that I've sung, and one of them came out in a red tracksuit.
Oh, that's
this
incredible.
deep cut nod.
Oh my God, maybe I'll go as you for Halloween.
Oh.
But
red.
people won't know
it's
what
a
that
deep
is.
cut,
That
but
is
if
deep
they
cut.
know,
No,
they
it's
know.
so inside.
Red tracksuit,
So
Percocet.
A little bit of green.
I'll break
Yes.
one of your ribs for you.
Tiny. Yeah, exactly. Oh my
But
God,
that's
it's
the
fun.
story.
That's a
Oh,
story.
man. But you got an enormously long-standing ovation. I have to imagine that's the most comfortable you've ever been on stage in a tracksuit on Percocet.
Yeah, I wish I could sing those notes and
Yeah.
be high all the time.
It lowers
but
your
it
voice.
doesn't happen.
You can still sing all the notes.
I can sing all the
Yeah,
notes.
of course.
Not like right now. I
Yesterday,
have
you
to warm
pulled it
up.
out of your butt.
had just finished going to the bathroom, by the way. I literally
Good acoustics
waited
in the
till I
toilet
peed,
rooms.
and then I was sitting there.
Well, you killed it.
I
She's
was
saying
I
happy
was doing
birthday.
spelling bee on New York Times, the game that I'm obsessed with now, and then I said, "Oh right, Kristen needs
Kristen's badgering me to make an audio
message
file.
for a 3-year-old." So I did that, and I had to make sure the flusher had stopped jingling.
But it sounded so good.
Yeah, but it was low. It was "Happy Birthday." It was down there.
Yeah, but it was so beautiful. And then Groff responds with, "Great job, Idina. What the fuck? Like, why are you making us all look bad?" Because I needed audio recordings for Yorma Tacone's
and I
little girl.
thought you said "Sing Happy Birthday."
You, me, and Jonathan sang. Josh didn't sing.
What did Josh do?
He did go "Summer."
He said, "I'm Olaf and I like warm hugs, and I heard it's your birthday and everyone's talking about it, and I hope you have a great birthday and also a great ending to my favorite season, summer."
That's great. That's great.
That's my Josh.
That's good. Wait, we have two singers in the room, so I want to address happy birthday because now that's a ding, ding, ding. Kristen has a lot of opinions
Oh,
about
I
happy
would
birthday, and I
love-
wonder if you have the same
Oh
opinions.
God, what?
Is it a triggering song for you? Let's start there.
Not that song. There's many
I have
triggering songs.
So much beef with happy birthday.
It happened yesterday.
Why?
Literally yesterday.
It's not the song, okay? It's not
I'm a snorter,
the
sorry.
notes or the
Me too.
libretto.
Cut that out when I snort. Sorry.
We're going to turn it up.
Here's my problem with happy birthday. The people singing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And let me get
Okay.
specific. Everybody starts it way too high. So you start here. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. You're fucked.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? And you fucked. I mean, if you're the person that starts the happy birthday, you fucked everybody.
There's no right key for everybody.
No, but you still have to start. I think like an alto version of it is great.
Good for everyone.
Can I interject and just say that's a bit of a red herring? The real problem
Does he
that
have
you
whipped?
find
Does
it
he have coffee whipped cream on
insufferable.
his mustache?
It's everywhere. It's on my shirt. It looks like I went down on a donkey. Okay. I love you, Idina. You've got a good sense of humor. You're allowing me to let my other side rip. Anyways,
please.
this is the real objection. It's the tempo for her. She hates how slow it goes. She also has it in her mind as if there's an official version that she's consulting. In her mind, this is the speed of happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
You already started too high.
Okay.
Here
And is that the
here's
tempo
the
that you
official
like?
tempo and the official
Okay.
key.
Okay.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Idina. Happy birthday to you. Otherwise, you're in no man's land and you go, happy birthday
that's what it's all about.
to
There is a middle ground.
you.
I don't
But you're
understand
waiting
the
for
middle ground.
everybody else, but no one
Yes.
finds the middle ground. And then it's too long. I'm always the loudest in the group because I start the key really low and I keep the tempo flowing.
Oh my God.
Hon, you're my sun and my stars.
Yeah.
The setting sun, the rising moon, you're
Yes.
everything. You're like an alcoholic parent who's about to tip, and everyone's just feeling the vibe in the room like, oh God. Soon as anyone has to sing happy birthday, I'm like, oh God, here we go. Kristen.
Because of Kristen.
Yeah.
You're so codependent. I mean, I don't know if you're codependent. I'm
I
projecting
fight
my own
it. I
stuff.
fight it. No, I
Yeah.
do. But we sang it to my sister yesterday,
Yeah.
the whole family on a video. And us three are fine with happy birthday to
Is she
you. And in
rolling
the
her
back,
eyes?
you hear she's just 4 beats ahead of us. And I know it's driving her crazy. And it's definitely driving me crazy because we're in no man's land, as you pointed out. Like
We
ducking
started in no man's land. That's what you don't understand.
I find it helpful.
The version you sang sounds aggressive and like you're in a hurry and you don't want to relish in my birthday. The speed at which
Not
she
if
sold.
everyone's singing together.
Happy
It sounds
birthday
weird
to
when it's
you.
just her.
Happy
There's
birthday
going
to you.
to be
Happy birthday to
people
It is a
slowing
little-
it down if we're in a big group. So the tempo will naturally get slower. I'm accounting for that. Then let me ask you this. Do you think that it's okay if I'm not rushing everybody, could I at least, while you guys start singing, and I'll do something, maybe it's more background. Ready?
Okay, you ready?
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
No,
You think
no.
that's an improvement?
I think that giving you a beat might help.
Oh, you wanted us to go to the beat, or we were trying to show how off-putting
I
it
wanted
is
you to go
be-
naturally go to the beat because I know that's what your molecules like to do. I just think it's helpful to have a conductor.
The question is, though, do you have strong convictions about happy birthday, or
I
is
don't.
it okay?
You know,
You're pretty
I just
loose about
let
it.
people be free, especially if they're not singers. Don't make them uncomfortable. You know?
You're like the easiest person in the world.
I don't even
That
try to sing
tracks.
harmony at the end because I don't want to show off.
That's not fair. Everyone wants you to show
That's
off.
when you know
They are
you're
trying to
like
get a piece.
world class and brilliant. Is like you're self conscious that you're so fucking good.
Right.
Like, that's
I don't
really
want to
peak.
blast everybody here.
Same thing with karaoke.
It's not your place.
I don't do it. I have a microphone all the time, unless you give me a couple drinks. Then I do Proud Mary. But most of the time, it's like, it's your turn in the spotlight.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's
Very
generous.
kind.
Unless you desperately want to do and you're robbing yourself of the pleasure of it,
I
then
never
we wouldn't
really
want
want
you
to. I just get so conflicted because I'm like, please sing. And then I don't want to be a bitch about it. But I really never want to sing unless I'm in my zone.
Yes,
you know?
you've prepared and you've done everything mentally you want to do.
Maybe it's the perfectionist too. I just don't want it to come off bad, especially in this day and age, to be caught coming off badly.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I've now known you for 10 years. You guys did that movie 10 years ago. On the spectrum of introvert, extrovert, you're not very extroverted, are you?
You're saying no.
You're not. No.
But I go on stage and I'm very big and I take lots of risks.
Yeah.
And I'm not introverted on stage.
I know.
I am funnier on stage than I am in my real life. I have my alter ego.
Right. But there's many people like you in their performance or in their art. They're extremely, you have to be extroverted to act or to sing or to do anything. But then when they're not doing that, they feel much more comfortable just being a little more quiet. I think that's pretty darn common in our business.
I'm also just tired of myself.
You are.
You know,
okay.
I'm just exhausted of my own self, my own neuroses, my own voice, both inner saboteur and singing voice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you feel a little extroverted today.
Well, I'm
Today
on.
you're
Well, that's
popping
what I'm
off.
saying. It's not like one thing's more authentic than the other, but
Right.
I'm turning it on. This is so weird that I'm saying this on the microphone. I don't. When I say I'm turning it on, it doesn't mean I'm not being.
No, it doesn't mean you're not being
Genuine.
authentic.
I'm also very comfortable in here.
You can be both things. I wanted to come up so I could say hi to you and also to make you feel comfortable because it's not like you've spent a ton of alone time with Dax and Monica.
But I would have found that for myself.
Okay, well, then I'm going to let you.
No. I wanted you here.
seriously.
Hold on, though. I wanted you
I
here
just
for
wanted to come
one
up and love
question.
you for a little bit.
that.
But I wanted you guys for one question together because
Yes.
you must acknowledge that you two share one of the rarest and weirdest, most specific and unique experiences, which is to be the two princesses in this unnamed musical. For it to be such a global experience, you two are it. Like you can look at each other and go like, it's weird when you drive down the road on Halloween and 80% of the people you see out there
Are dressed like your
are
sister.
dressed like
Okay.
not a lot of Annas out there.
Is that what you were just saying?
Yes.
Well, 90% of the costumes
90p
were
are,
Elsa.
which I love.
Kristen was just looking at old videos of the girls, and there's one where Delta and I are role playing. We're playing that movie, and she's like, I'm Elsa.
I'm
like,
Elsa. I'm Elsa. And then Monica's frozen. And Delta's doing this thing where she's going up to her face very, very close and putting her hands out on Monica's cheeks, just about to kiss her. And then she pulls away.
Oh, the anticipation.
Very dramatically. And then we're all going, kiss her, Elsa. It's a true love's kiss. Save her. And Delta is milking
God.
the biggest cow you've ever seen. And just keeps saying, I'm Elsa.
How did that make you feel?
I'm used to it and it does not bother me in the slightest because I fancy myself a team player and I mean that genuinely. I don't know if you remember these texts, but for 2 years in a row, when my oldest was really little, she wanted to be Elsa and everybody did. I said, great, that's perfect. I'll be Anna. I mean, it'll be weird and it'll be like very meta, but I'm into it. And she said, no, I need you to match me.
This is for Halloween.
Yes, for Halloween. It was very, very important to her. So for 2 years in a row, I dressed as Elsa, which was like just a brain scramble.
Oh
but,
my gosh.
but I don't mind it. I still have my Elsa dress
I
upstairs.
see lots of Annas out there. By the way, I wanted to call her Anna for a long time because I'm an East Coast Long Island girl. It's still uncomfortable for me to say Anna. I don't say Aunt Kara like my sister. I say Ann.
Same.
You know, so to say Anna is uncomfortable for me till this day. I wouldn't be uncomfortable addressing as her. She's so much cooler, honestly. She's just so much
I'd
funnier.
way rather date Anna. You know, she sounds like way more fun.
Right?
You're like, where are you at, girl? You're
Yeah.
singing in a where? You're what? You're making an ice palace? Let's get something to eat. Yeah, you almost done with this
it's so
ice.
serious.
Yeah,
She's
let it,
very
yeah. We
quirky.
all let it go. So
Yes.
join us now at
Jeez,
lunch.
get over it.
But the experience that you had to have had, and I wanted to see if you guys could commiserate on it, and I've been able to observe it most of the times it happens, which is we're somewhere in public, we're at a restaurant, and you can see them from across the room. You know it's coming. You got a parent, usually mom. She's got a kid or two with her, and she's bringing those kids over to meet, not Kristen, to meet Anna.
Yes. It's traumatizing.
They introduce the children to Kristen. This is Princess Anna. And the parents assume they're going to be so excited about this, but the kids are so confused.
Totally.
Like, no, Princess Anna's a cartoon character. Does this happen to you
Always.
nonstop? And the kids are never delighted, right?
Yeah. I think it's good intentioned, but they don't realize how messy it is. I find there's like an age limit of when they can understand it. And it's
Yes.
about 7. And if it's prior to 7, the kids' bullshit detector is going to go off because their brains are going to start to malfunction and look at their parent and go, she's telling me this person is a cartoon and this person is not a cartoon.
And in my case, there's like a brunette older
Looks
lady
completely different.
with lots of lines on her face and a little Botox in her forehead. That doesn't look like Elsa.
Have you had bad experiences with that, or how do you handle it? Because I know how I handle it, but I would love to know how you handle it.
When they start crying, I
Yeah.
just
You just walk away at that point.
I just say, I know, honey. I'm a scary old lady. It's okay, Mom. You can take her away now. Nice to meet you. You know what I've done? This is cool of me, I think. I say, close your eyes. And then I go in their ear and I say, have you seen Anna over in Arendelle? And then I sing The Snow Goes White a little bit. And then they understand.
Oh, that's very nice.
And do they then connect?
They do a little smile. I mean,
Okay.
I'm saying they like it's been a million kids. It's like maybe 1 or 2. Recently I've done
nice,
that.
though.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
Yeah, that's what I guess I was most interested in you two commiserating
Well, you
about.
have a shared bond. It's like the Marvel universe. Only they will understand that, and you guys are the only ones that'll understand this.
I would take any day of the week the weirdness that parents give us around their kids for like what a superpower it is. It's like you've got this huge squirt gun of joy that you're able to just fire at will. Like yesterday when there was a friend's kid and I just texted all 3 of you like, hey, take 10 seconds and say happy birthday. And we all did it because we all do it every time.
Right. I get these requests all the time. Can you make a video for my kid or bar mitzvah, mazel tov video, or we're getting married or whatever. So, but when Kristen does it for the last how many years, she always says, just an audio. And I go, is that all you want? I'm happy to do a video. And it just occurred to me the first time after 10 years while I was sitting on the toilet that, oh, of course, Kristen's smart. Why would we do a video that will traumatize the child? Just send an audio message.
Yeah.
Also, I ain't trying to pull this for teenagers. Do you know what I'm saying?
Teenagers are privileged. We know this.
All of them.
Every single
one. But if there's a
Entitled.
2, 3, 4, 5-year-old kid, I'm always down. Do you remember when? I probably shouldn't say that. That's really
Well,
bad.
now you must.
Monica can
I'll
cut it.
just, or you can tell me. If you
There
wanna cut
was. There's no way to know what merch it was. I needed some stuff signed from you guys. And I thought it would be so much easier if I just did it. And so I nailed it.
Yeah.
Instead of sending it to you guys and having everyone have to forward, like you send it to Josh and then send it to Jonathan. So I just signed, I don't know, 5 or 10 posters with all of our names.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I
And-
signed a few things.
I mean, I thought
on
about
you
doing that. You did, yeah.
for you, but not. I don't think like charity.
Not for charity.
But they used to have stamps,
Yeah, that's what you need. Stamp.
but they don't give us
They're out of
those.
vogue.
You
need
can always
stamp.
tell, like when you get a
You can
letter
totally
from
tell if
someone
it's stamped.
Yeah.
that's a stamp.
Although I also noticed this to brag a little bit.
Yeah.
Like Julie Andrews wrote me a thank you for being on her children's show once, and it was a full-on stationery in her loopy big handwriting.
Oh, that's a frame.
You know, like a real thank you letter that we don't even write anymore because we
Yeah.
email.
Did you frame it?
I did.
Okay,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Julie Andrews, a letter from all the U2 guys from the Oscars that year because they were nominated the same year.
As the Travolta.
Yes.
The big year.
And so
yeah,
does
just
the
a little
letter.
like we love being in the same category. It was just so cool. Bono is the one man I've always wanted to duet with.
Oh,
That's
he's your
never
celebrity
happened.
crush?
Kind of, yeah.
Oh my God, I think Kristen can make this happen because he's been trying to bang her for about 8
He
years
has
now.
not been trying to.
Oh, he hasn't?
No.
Oh.
We worked together. You know, he sent me a couple birthday things.
When did you work together?
We have done the Red Show on Jimmy Kimmel a couple years in a row. They put together this big show to raise money for Red. And for some reason, I was the only person that consistently came like 4 or 5 years in a row. So I ended up kind of knowing how. So
I
just
wanna
like
do it.
I was conducting Happy
No.
Birthday.
This is
Yeah.
exactly how we can make this happen because
100%.
we have
You
we
wanna
got
do
it all
it?
dialed in
We
over
should
at
do it.
Kimmel.
I would
Yeah,
do
yeah.
it.
Okay.
I love
totally
him
do
so much.
Well, I was just going to say I'm so grateful for you to come up and share this.
And this is very cringy, but I like being inextricably attached
Oh, what could be cringy about
to
that?
this lady for the rest of our lives. And when we're 90 and we're like singing our songs an octave or two lower, and we sound like we smoke Lucky Strikes.
Yes.
You'll
And
be
no
on.
one will hire us, but we're in Vegas and we're singing it, honey.
We've got to do
I
it.
see you guys on the deck of an aircraft carrier where they wheel you out in the wheelchairs and the soldiers salute you and
I've
stuff.
actually already thought this through, and I've pitched this to you once before. When we get very old and we really want to retire with a send-off, I'm thinking we develop a musical version of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane.
Oh, yes. I know. I've thought of this recently.
And then we just do it on Broadway for however many months our old bones will let us.
But we don't have to be old for that. We could start writing it now.
Sure, but I think we have to be older, no?
Right, but how old were they? You always think people are
That's a great
maybe
point.
I'm older than you though. 'Cause
Listen.
I got 10 years on you.
Look it up for me, Rob, so I don't step in it. But remember Cocoon.
Yeah. How
Wilford
old do you
Brimley
think they
was like 52
exactly?
playing
Did you
a
ever see
retired
the
grandpa.
Golden Girls? How old did you think they were?
Like-
They're not. They
Yes.
were like
100.
40.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's upsetting.
Maybe 50. Yeah. It seemed like they were in an old age retirement complex.
Yes.
Well, they were all living together.
If
and
we
they
were in
all
the 80s, you two
single.
would be playing great grandmas on TV right
Oh
now.
my
I'm
goodness.
so excited for that.
How old was he?
He's about 50.
50. Wilford Brimley and Cocoon. Remember, he's
Yeah,
an old
yeah.
timer over the hill.
Yeah.
Ay, ay, ay.
Well,
I
anyway,
love you.
I will be
Okay,
there.
I love you too. I'm glad I got to
Love
see
you.
Is
Thank you
this-
for making this introvert more comfortable.
Always. Okay, love you.
Love you.
All right, now let's talk about her.
Oh, yeah. What a bitch.
She's such
What a bitch. I can't believe you got
I
through
don't know
that.
how you deal with her.
We're stuck with her, right?
Right?
You and I both.
Forever.
Yeah.
And me.
That's right.
Don't
And you
dare.
too.
Yeah.
You could leave. You do have the option to leave.
Well,
she's permanently stuck with this
yeah.
franchise.
that's
Yeah.
true.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow,
Like,
I didn't know the freedom I had.
yeah, you have autonomy
Wow.
still. We don't have, we've lost our autonomy.
Okay. Wait, but you dropped two things that we definitely have to hit on. You said neuroses and you said codependence.
Oh gosh.
We got to
These
get
are
into those
big
things.
Two very Jewish
Those are
things to talk about.
Big old things.
Can we start at the beginning? This will be a fun reverse order, but that's okay. This show's very scattywampus. Can we start in Long Island?
Sure.
I've read a lot of people's parents' occupation,
Okay.
and I've never in my life read pajama salesman.
What?
I think that's spectacular.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, totally true.
Okay, he would go to what, department stores and stuff?
Kmart, Target, JCPenney. He always tells people that's what helped put me through college, were the buyers from those stores. And it wasn't his own company, he was a salesman.
Wow. And was it like linen ones?
It was everything. It was feeties.
Oh.
Or beautiful. There's a fancy name for it, and I'm forgetting now, where it's like silk robes.
Yeah.
There's baby dolls. Do you remember what those are? Like little shorts kind of
yes.
things.
Is it fair to guess that you were very well appointed with pajamas?
Drawers were just
Overflowing.
spilling over with pajamas.
Wow, what a niche.
Yeah, but I would have really rather had an extra pair of Jordache or Sassoon jeans.
Yes.
DoorDash has come up on here a few
It
times.
has?
Yeah.
Funny.
You needed to befriend a daughter or son of the Jordache
Yes.
Empire and trade.
Yes.
Like, I got a ton of jammies over here. I'm trying to get rid, unload.
Nothing.
But mom was a therapist?
Not always. She had never gone to college. So she went to college and got her degree. Another thing with the ages, because I always think I
They
think
were
she was
so
only in
old.
her early 30s. They were so young when they met. They were 14 and they got married at 18 and 20. Had me at 21. Mom came to that a little later in her life.
Post-divorce?
Post-divorce.
So she
Yes.
was like, it's now my time to create
she
the
found
life I
herself.
dreamed about.
Yeah. Although he always supported her in that way. He actually used to type her papers when
Oh,
she went back
really?
to school. Yeah. He was always very supportive of her in that way. It's just back then, the women did what they thought they were supposed to do. And she would say she didn't even breastfeed me because my dad's sister frowned upon it. And, back then people were weirded out.
My mom was pressured into not breastfeeding with my brother and I. It was like the movement at that time.
Attachment issues between us are hurt because of that. She thinks I'm a nail biter because I didn't have the sucking.
And you're recreating now for the rest of your life, this lost period of sucking.
My oral
Fixations.
Maybe that works for me too, because I have a horrendous oral fixation. I was a smoker and a gum chewer, and now I dip. You name it. I got mints all the time. So maybe she's right.
Maybe she's right.
And then grandma and grandpa are from Russia.
Yes, except my dad just did a thing, and he says now there's Poland, but I'm told that's all the same and one, and sort of everyone, especially the Jewish people, were always
Traipsing around the
Yeah.
whole area.
Yeah.
Were they uniquely foreign, though, when you would go over there? Did you feel their foreignness?
Maybe my grandfather, Max, a little bit more. Nobody had an accent or anything like
Oh, they
that.
didn't?
No. The Bronx just beat it out of them.
Yeah, too
Yeah.
dangerous to have an accent in the Bronx.
Yeah.
Get called out.
Yeah. And then my mom's side, my grandpa Nat, who was her father, another Russian Jew, I only had him around until I was 6, and then he died. And I have like the fondest memories of him. He was really an integral part of my singing and being creative.
Because he just would encourage you and he loved
Encouraged
seeing it.
me, storyteller, loved to put on shows with me. I just remember it, and I was 6, or I was 4 or 5, you know, and then I remember him having a heart attack, being in the hospital. I remember my sister, actually 3 years younger than me, was born and got whooping cough, and she and my mom had whooping cough. So I was at home. Both my sister and my mom were in the hospital for a whole month.
Oh my God.
And so my dad was always with them in the hospital, and I was always with my grandpa. I think that's why it stayed with me so long, because he was my guardian, and we were just so close. And then my mom's mom, my grandma Betty, was not with us anymore. She converted. All my dad's side just said my mom wasn't a real Jew, and she was very goyish, and she's still blonde. And,
She's a shiksa kind
yeah.
of. And then your little sister, how much younger is she?
She's like 3.5 years younger. She lives here now for the first time since COVID. I stole her. She's an elementary school teacher and a writer, and she was getting all these families when we went into quarantine were trying to hire her to do a pod. She lived in Boulder, Colorado. And I said, I think you need to come to LA. And so me and a couple other mommy friends put our 5 kids with my sister over on Kenter Street, rented her a house with a pool, and they literally do math and jump in the pool. We'd converted the pool house to a schoolhouse. Yeah, she'd take them to the beach.
Is she married?
Uh-huh. And then they loved being here. So now they live here. And she's an empty nester. She's younger, but she had kids first. She got married first. She got divorced first.
Wow,
Paved the
she
way.
did it
Yes.
all.
Yeah,
Yes, she did. Thank you, Kara.
Eternally grateful.
Yeah.
Here's another thing I thought was really cute learning about you, because this is also Kristen's story, is performing all through high school at weddings and bat mitzvahs and bar
Yeah.
mitzvahs.
I didn't know Kristen did that.
Yes, her and her friend Bob. Funerals, they did some.
Really?
Did you ever dabble in any funerals?
I did not.
Okay, now what would happen then when you would go to the bat mitzvahs and you could potentially see peers there?
No. Well, the ages are not.
You weren't singing professionally when you were 13?
I was singing when I was 15.
Oh, okay, we're
Get it
splitting
right,
hairs.
yeah.
there. Yeah.
Only because I could illegally drive with my junior license.
Oh,
Your
sure.
permit.
Yeah. So I probably did see people that were the older brothers and sisters. It was very uncomfortable for me the few times that happened. When I was younger, I loved it. I felt like the shit. Here I am. I'm singing for a living. I'm a professional singer. I'm getting paid. I would wear my mom's sexy cocktail
Baby
dresses.
dolls?
And the baby
What if you wear your
Baby doll
pajamas?
pajamas.
And I was just so proud of all of that. I felt like such a big shot. And I was learning and hanging out late at night with all of these musicians and just really learning my craft. And then as the years went on and I wasn't getting any breaks and I was getting a little more disgruntled and a little bit more
jaded.
sexually harassed by the band leader and more people not paying attention to something great that I had been doing that night. That's when I started to feel like I wanted to get out of there. And there were a bunch of times when there was someone in the audience that I knew if they would notice me, this could be a break, and they just could care less because their daughter was getting married or something, you know.
Right.
That was
The
really hard for me.
fantasies that you go
This
through.
could be the night.
You get discovered.
Yeah, and I'd pull out, Whitney Houston, some big ballad, greatest love of all, I'd call it, thinking this is it. They're going to forever say they remembered me singing this song, and nothing.
You know what that's a testament to?
What?
Is context. It's unfortunate, but it's just unavoidably true that the person puts you immediately in some category, and that's that. You could be Michael Jackson.
Exactly.
But if you're at the bowling alley
Yeah.
and it's for St. Patty,
I'm just the help.
and it's all framing in your mind. Okay, this person's already on that trajectory.
Then they put the limbo stick in my hands. I'm hanging out there waiting for some kids to, I
Make their way
That's
under the
context
limbo.
Oh my
you.
God, it's like party down. It's
mean,
literally
it's
that.
horrible.
He does come up to you finally. Oh God, here he comes, the A&R from Columbia. Excuse me, you know where the bathroom is?
Yeah,
Have you
exactly.
been to the bathroom yet?
There was one time I remember too, this is silly because it's not like Julia Roberts is going to discover me, but it just felt like all my worlds colliding. And Julia Roberts was there with, what's the guy she dated?
Oh,
Brant?
Benjamin Bratt?
No.
She was married to
She
him.
did before him. What's his name from?
Liam Neeson.
No, okay. With Jennifer Jason Leigh, the movie about they were drug.
Yes, Patrick.
Yes, she was dating
Jason
him.
Patrick.
Jason Patrick.
Very
and
sexy
I guess
man.
It was
Great
so
movie,
sexy.
too.
Great movie.
Rush.
Rush, thank
Yeah.
you. She had been dating him.
But don't see it. Don't watch Rush. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They had come, I think it was her friend from high school or something. They were there. They left early because she probably had to go do a movie or something. That's what I'm saying. It was just in my head. She had to get somewhere fabulous, and here I'm doing this thing. But I remember the groom and all of his frat boy friends were so drunk. I was singing Respect, Aretha Franklin. So loved when they would let me sing the Motown stuff because I was really trying to hone my R&B and I was finding my soulful self. And they came up drunk and took my mic and were all like rubbing up against me. And I was thinking, Julia Roberts is here. This is just a horrible, it was just felt gross.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
That was
That's
one
a
of
bummer.
them. There were many. There was a time where some guy just had a heart attack on the dance floor.
While you were
While I
singing?
was singing.
And then did you keep going?
It's horrible. And then I had to because my band leader said the show must go on.
No.
Type of thing. Yeah.
Even if the
and I was
host
like,
is
this
dying
is
in front of
despicable.
everyone.
Yeah. And I used to tell the story, and my manager at the time would say, don't say that he died. It's just too down. Like,
Morbid.
maybe I embellished the story for so long that I'm lying.
No.
my
It sounds
dad-
like he probably passed.
My dad tells these stories from our childhood, and like when I got super disgusting drunk in ninth grade, and he had to carry me out of this house, and I blacked out, and I threw up all over him. Every time he tells a story, it became he got stopped by a cop on the way home, and my head was in his lap, and the cop thought that I was like, everything. He's just always embellishing. Gets
He's always
worse and
punching it
worse.
up.
Yes.
I was going to ask that since you were working young, were you drinking and were you out doing, were you like
No.
naughty?
I wasn't that naughty.
What the fuck happened
Yeah,
in ninth
sounds
grade
like
on this
you were a
occasion?
little
Yeah.
I wasn't naughty when I was working. I took
Right.
that very seriously.
okay.
I was experimenting with things if I was at a friend's house.
Well, because I'm sure you felt much older than your age.
Yes,
Because you were
I
like
did.
working.
Were you anxious to get out of the house and start your life?
Well, with the parents being divorced, I think I could get away with stuff a little bit more with my mom, my dad not being home as much. Not because he didn't want to be there, but it was very common for a dad to only have Sundays.
Yeah.
during divorce, which is so weird. They wouldn't even try.
Our schedule is every other weekend. And then one of those 2 weekends, he would just take us to our grandparents' house so we could see them. So it was really one weekend a month.
It was standard.
That was a dad who was still involved with his kids.
Totally. That's what I'm
By the
saying.
80s metric. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he sees his kids on the weekends. I mean, half the time. Yeah. He's a damn good dad. He's with them 2 days a month. Easy.
No wonder they had all these families because they're only really doing
Sure, you
still
can juggle a
few. Yeah.
But when I went to NYU, he lived in Manhattan and he had the cool bachelor pad in Manhattan, which
The
was
pajama
fun.
sales had gone well for
Yes,
him.
it did actually
Yeah,
for a while.
that's great.
I mean, it was just a nice studio apartment or whatever. But until recently, when I went back to my old home and it was tiny, I realized, I guess I thought we were rich when I was growing up. And that's a testament to him and my mom. And living out here, I think, God, was I poor.
Right.
I wasn't poor. We were lower middle class probably, but I really didn't think of things that way. The wealth out here and the kind of houses, and even who I thought was super rich in Long Island, were nothing compared to the stuff around here. It's just your perspective gets blown out of proportion.
It's so true. My grandparents' house, where we would spend those weekends and most of the summer, it was like a 1,300 square foot house. House was huge to me because relative to the apartment we would leave to go to it, it was like, holy smokes. And it had a yard.
I had my own bedroom.
They felt totally rich to me.
Yeah.
They had soda in the fridge at all times.
He was a big tipper, my dad. Always noticed
well,
that.
he's a salesman.
Yeah, and he would come to all my shows, like Rent and Wicked. He must have seen the show 60 times, each of them. It was like a cool thing for him to bring the buyers to.
Yeah.
his kind of
Okay,
show
so
up.
this is what we need to dive into a little
What?
bit. Because one version of that is how sweet and supportive. But my father, when he was alive, what I wrestled with sometimes was, is this about me or is this about you? Like 60 times with clients, that didn't trigger you at all.
No, because I know him and he's got his other shit, but he's just so proud. I mean, till this day, if he flies out here, you don't even have to be talking to him and he will find a way to tell you that his daughter is all the things. Now, that may make him feel good about himself as a father, that
Yeah,
he
yeah.
produced someone that's doing something
Can
that
let it
he's
rip
proud
like
of.
that when she
Yeah.
opens her mouth. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be very proud.
But I think it's definitely pride.
I guess you know what? If you have a story already about your dad, it can confirm it. So mine was, my dad was selfish and very selfishly motivated and drove a Corvette and lived in a nice house, and we lived in a welfare apartment and he kept the family home. I don't have that story about him anymore, but I did. And so, yeah, I would go, no, this is all about him. Similarly, I called him one time and he answered the phone and he goes, oh, good, talk to this woman. That was how he said hello. And then I hear the phone fumbling and then I hear, hello? I'm like, hello? Who's this? Dax? For real, the real Dax? I'm like, I guess. Hear the phone fumble. I told you. He's in Walmart arguing with a woman. At that moment, I
right.
called.
So he's using you to make himself look like a
To
hot
be a big
shot.
shot, yeah. I wanted to take it as pride. I wanted my father to be proud of me, and he was. But I got hung up on, is he proud of me or is he just pumped he's got some cultural
think it can be
capital now?
both.
Yes, and now I think I have much more understanding. Like, yes, of course it's all things.
Yes.
You're right.
There are
It's not
gray
either
areas.
or.
For that particular subject, I'm sure there's other stuff that was shitty parenting.
Right.
But that one feels like they're allowed to be caught in the middle.
Well,
Yeah.
they made you. I feel like we try to make parenting so separate from ego, but it's not. I mean, you made these people.
Yes.
And so there's no way
As
to
I say,
fully-
invented.
You invented
There was
them.
no Lincoln or Delta. I invented those two.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
You
so
did.
you're, as an inventor, going to take some pride in
Sure.
when your invention goes off and does something cool.
When I flick on a light bulb, Edison smiles.
Well, what
Yep.
is the reason for having children?
I think it's also okay to say that because I think it's a lie to be like, oh, it's just this selfless act. And
That's
it's
the-
not.
Not selfless, no.
I didn't have the benefit of having kids before he died. We were just about to have our first kid. So a lot of these things through having kids, I've come to a lot more forgiving of the things I was judgmental of because now I have them.
Yeah.
And I just didn't have that experience.
I know, that's sad.
Because yes, you have them and all of a sudden you realize like, oh my God, yeah, if Lincoln did anything or Delta did anything, when they do anything, I'm so proud. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I'm guilty of.
Proud, and then also the projection, all the stuff that I realize I'm working out and trying not to work that out in front of him, or don't want him to see me working and I want to be a different kind of role model. But kids can pick up on anything. You can't even pretend that you're changing or you're doing something differently than your parents because they actually just clock everything.
Oh, they know the real you. There's
You
no.
have to let them grow up and know they're going to have issues with you no matter
That's the
what.
way it goes.
So the whole time at NYU, you in your mind were going to be a recording artist.
Because I had learned all this kind of music other than Broadway stuff. When I was little, my parents would bring me in to see theater all the time, and I wanted to do that. And I studied classically when I was really young. I was singing arias. And then when I started doing the weddings and realizing, oh, I actually have some grit, and I liked all the different genres. I was learning to sing all the jazz, the Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald, the Whitney, and the Madonna, and the rock songs I was doing. I was just getting such a great education. Oh, and then my mom had one of her first boyfriends after my dad, who was very supportive of me, actually said, you should start writing music. That's where the real success comes in. And then he knew some guy in a wedding band, so he hooked me up. So that's how it happened. So then I started really wanting to be a recording artist and write songs.
Like pop.
At the time, in 90, Alanis was starting to come out, maybe a little bit after that, but it was definitely in a more rock
Got
place. Soulful rock. I was into
Power
Janis
ballad.
Joplin. I was listening to all the old stuff. Because I
Wasn't for
had
you.
a big voice. So I have to figure out how to use it in a way that doesn't sound too theatrical. It sounds like big and dynamic. And so I'd listen to those singers, like Shaka Khan. I love to sing. So I'd
Shaka.
listen to her and Aretha's upper range to listen, like, how do they belt out these notes and it sounds effortless? I try to emulate people like that. And then I got into Annie Lennox. But Barbra Streisand was my very first album that I ever owned. And that was when I was young. I listened to that because Grandma Betty, the one that's probably French,
The Shiksa.
the Shiksa,
The converted.
who converted, yeah.
Let's
to
call it
see.
what it is. The betrayer of the family.
Exactly.
The turncoat.
She took me to see A Star Is Born, the one with Barbra Streisand and Chris Christopherson. That was the first album, vinyl, I owned. And I'd sit on my living room floor and look at all the pictures.
Helps that she's Jewish too, right?
I guess so.
Because there weren't any huge, iconic
No, not that I
movie
can
star
think
singers that were
of.
Jewish yet.
I think you're right. I never really thought about whether there was anyone else.
I think she was the first representation for a lot of young Jewish girls. That were like,
Yes.
wait, oh, we can be.
She might have been insecure about it, but she didn't change her nose was a big thing. And a lot of Jewish girls out in Long Island was all about getting your nose job. And so the rumor was she didn't do it because she feared that it would change the sound of her voice.
That's what I grew up learning.
Is it right?
Yes.
So I never even touched my nose because of that.
Oh, I want to snip yours and see if we can go even higher.
Can we do it?
I think if I give you a tinier nose, maybe we can get even higher.
I just want to narrow this
I want,
out a little
like, fuck
bit.
glass breaking. I want drywall to crumble off walls when you hit the note.
I was learning how to snowboard so I could be a cool mom with Walker, and I fell so hard. You know how they tell you to fall not on your wrists, fall kind of on your forearm? So I fell on my forearm so my fists were free to then punch myself in the face. I don't know if I broke it or not.
Yeah, did you ever feel like I used to hope my nose would break? So that it's like while we're in there, like just you can just smooth it out a
exactly.
bit. Yeah.
I had
No,
that
but I was just
fantasy,
in
too.
awe of her voice. There's something about effortless, rangy singers and how connected to whatever that is in their soul, whatever you believe, there's just something that just comes out of them that I just love. So I was listening to all these different kind of music, and that's when I started to realize that I could write. And then because of Rent taking off and stuff, I was able to get a record deal and start working with people. Although people would not welcome me into their recording studios like big time producers that were in the pop side of things because they just assumed she's a Broadway girl. Even though it was a rock musical, they didn't really care.
But in their defense, I imagine there's been a very long history of Broadway stars trying to transition,
You
and they've been burned.
This new album that I have is my way of saying, please just listen with fresh ears. You can have a big voice and sing disco or dance music. That's what so much of it is. These
Yes.
big, belty voices over the cool groove.
Yes, I relate deeply in that there were things I wanted to be before I was an actor or comedian. And sometimes when I'm now doing them in public, I get this weird insecurity, like racing. When I was racing, I think a lot of people were like, oh, great, another actor turned. And I'm like, no, all I ever wanted to be was a race car driver. The comedy thing was definitely second to that. Like, you're actually seeing my original desire.
Oh, I didn't know that about
just
you
in
with the
order of
racing.
events, it's like, I
can
wanted to be a
see.
race car driver.
Well, why do they just have to box us into one thing?
It blows, and then also I'm guilty of it. When, let's say, who's our sexiest, hottest star right now? Charlemagne?
Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet. If he drops a hip hop album next week, he's going to have to be extra good for me. I'm just being
I
honest.
get
Yeah.
it.
You know, I'm going to go like, oh boy, this is not for you at all. This
No,
isn't
I
a good
get it,
analogy.
though.
Just, I know I'm guilty of it. Robert Downey Jr. singing. Luckily, in my opinion, he is so spectacular that you're like, okay, yeah, you better sing with the Police right now at this party because you're killing it.
I think there's also a little bit of a sense of injustice. Like if Timothy Chalamet put out a hip hop album where you're watching this like, oh, he only gets to do that because he's Timothy Chalamet. And there's all these people who are really good who can't do it. So it comes with this like angst.
Of justice.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in your case, that's your original pursuit. So if I were you, I would feel indignant a little bit.
Well, I'm just a singer. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm an
straight up.
actress, but I love using my voice. I like the skill, the craft of it. I like controlling it, finding different ways to be expressive and connect with people in different parts of my voice. I enjoy that so much. So to just confine me to one thing is frustrating.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
There's one spell of your journey that interests me the most, which is between Rent and Wicked. I have to imagine that you learned a lot about yourself in that period because you're in Rent, you're a standout, you win a Tony.
No, I got nominated.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The show won, and we were everywhere.
And what
And
year
you're-
was it? Sorry, just so I have a timeline. of all this.
1996.
it started. And then Wicked wasn't until 2003.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'd be right to think, well, I'm going to be in minimally another 3 hit shows between now and whenever, or the lead of many movies.
Well, what would happen back then, things have changed now when people have a hit Broadway show, they get a big agent, they're right into TV and film, and they all do really great. And I was stuck on getting a record deal. That was my dream. And I also thought back then, which I think is different these days, I would lose credibility if I was on TV, even though I think that the lines are all blurred these days with social media and Glee and Hamilton. All these things have sort of made musical theater a little cooler.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be perceived as credible. And I got this record deal. I was so excited. I spent 1.5 years of my life making it, going out promoting it. I sold about 37 CDs. And then I got dropped from the record label. And then I just was trying to keep writing and do another album. And in the meantime, starting to get sent out for things. But now I wasn't the shit.
The
So I had to
momentum
kind
slowed.
of just do it again. So I did some off-Broadway stuff and some great things. And in that time, my ex-husband had gotten How Stella Got Her Groove back.
So
And
he's
he was
now on
becoming
a rocket
huge
ship.
movie star.
Oh, that doesn't
So when
help.
you met,
We met in Rent.
They're both
And we
fucking
were growing
losers.
up together.
Nobodies.
oh
Pedestrians.
my God, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then all that exciting stuff was happening for him, and it was hard for me.
Yeah. I remember dating a gal who was on fire while I was in my lowest slump. I had 3 movies fail in a row, and she's like apex earning of her career. And it's hard to be faced with someone who's turning down so much stuff you die to have.
Yes.
Like, it's really hard to stay ahead of your own emotions in that sitch.
Also, there was a whole race side to it because we were in the theater with everybody, all kinds of people, personalities, people with different sexual orientations. And then when he was now having a different profile,
Well, was he expected
there
to
was
have
a
been with
sense
a...
of I was ashamed, or I don't know, maybe he felt ashamed in some way of having the white girlfriend.
There's a lot of
slash
pressure on
white.
black men.
A lot of black journalists would give him a really hard time. And it was something we weren't aware of, and then I became very aware of. And then I just felt like an ugly white Jewish girl.
Right.
On his arm. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm saying that on this mic. It sounds really self-deprecating, but it was really how I felt sometimes. We'd be out here a lot for his stuff, and they'd be sending me in for pilots or things. And so I'd be sitting in my car in traffic, looking at the billboards, coming back from an audition that I totally tanked. I'm not a good auditioner.
Yes, and he's trying to decide which of these next three
Thing
offers
to do.
would be
I'm going
best.
to premieres and
Yeah.
I'm sort of on his arm, but I should stand up to the side. And all that
You're
kind
this
of stuff.
Becky over here
And
with
once
the
in a while,
straight
someone
hair.
says, she's the girl from Rent, and I'm like, yes, I am.
Ultimately, now I'm so grateful for that because I do think I have a perspective about all this.
Not to take it for granted.
Yeah, it's not like everything just was working and then it continued to work. Now, the downside is I have a lot of fears that I probably shouldn't
That
have.
the other shoe's going to drop all the time.
Always. I
Yeah.
can see the
That's
light of the
divorced
train.
parents too, though.
Yeah.
I think. In my case, my mom hates when I talk about this publicly, but I just didn't see it coming.
He's typing for her and supportive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, they did love each other very
Yeah.
much, but they didn't fight in front of us a lot. So it wasn't a lot of tumults like that. So it took us by surprise. So I think a little other shoe to drop happens there too.
It's really funny you bring this up because I just had like a 2-month spell of it. I just am exiting it. But it's out of nowhere. It's not rooted in anything that's really happening. And I just decide everything good is now coming to an end. You
I know.
had a lot of good luck and you should be happy about that. But let's get
That's
real.
it.
Of course, this is all going to disintegrate. Still.
I have some good drugs that I take. I mean, head meds, not drugs.
Well, I would imagine that having felt it, optimism, then probably deep pessimism. And then on the second round, I do think it informs you a little differently, doesn't
I
it?
enjoy the silliest things. Well, Kristen could speak to this because she was really young when she was successful and she's kept a good sense of herself and treats people really well. But there's a lot of people that just don't get it when it happens for them young. They just don't understand. They think they do too.
It's not their fault. They haven't had the other
can't.
experience.
Yeah.
And if they have all yes people, then they're screwed.
I do think it gives me a gratitude for when it works. I don't naturally believe this is coming to me the way some people do.
No, I believed in myself, but more when I was younger. Now, the older I'm getting and the more successful I've been, unfortunately, I'm more in my head, more about the neuroses you were saying. Yeah. Well, because you have further to fall.
Yeah.
My anxiety's gotten worse.
Most succinct way I think of it is like, well, now you have something to lose. Before you had nothing to lose, you were trying to create.
Yes.
So if you fell backwards, I'm already at the bottom. But then once you have it and you're grateful for it, I think this other new thing kicks in where it's like, well, now I don't want to lose this. So I don't want to error. I don't
and
want to
there's more
misstep.
people watching.
Yeah.
Especially with social media, too. I feel like that saboteur voice feels more comfortable coming out, especially when I'm performing. I'm enjoying performing less because I have to work harder at getting that little voice out of the way. And it makes me sad because I think when I was younger, even at those weddings and moments, it's like, I'm going to be out of here. Any minute, someone's going to see me. And I just felt a sense of I was going to do something.
This is one of the things I wanted to talk to you about because I actually got to witness this a lot. So the movie, the unnamed movie comes out. And of course, it's the biggest thing in the world. Do you remember when we saw an early version of it? People were turning to each other and they knew. I didn't know until Let It Go. Let It Go happens. It ends and I go, that was a fucking fight scene in a kung fu movie. The power of it and the full throttleness of it felt like an action set piece. And I was like,
that's
so blown away.
nice.
Like there's anything unique about that. Everyone felt that way.
I didn't feel that way.
You didn't
Not that
sense...
I wasn't proud. I was proud, but I also don't like get chills from my own voice.
Sure.
You know, I'm not affected. I
Yeah.
only hear stuff. You know, it doesn't.
That makes sense. You're probably the only person in the world who can't enjoy that song.
Yeah, it's true.
Truly. But you guys would have to go sing all the time after that. It was such a big event and they would send you places to sing. And this was my
That's so stressful.
analogy I would say to Kristen. It felt to me like people really underestimated what it takes to sing that song. I compared it to when you're watching the X Games and the guy does a double backflip on his motorcycle. He did it in the X Games, and 2 months leading up to that, he did it over and over again into a foam pit, and he made it happen on that day. You can't say to him 3 months later, go do a double backflip on that
Thank you
thing.
for noticing.
You can't just fucking
It's like the
do it.
marathon. You have to train. Some people have it. They can wake up they can do it. I think they're probably younger at that point, but I have to start like a month before, sing 20 minutes, sing a half hour. You know, my own concert, which is 2 hours of just me, but I can stall, I can tell stories. The blood gets in the chords and it makes it come up high. So it's nice sometimes to just tell a story and let your chords kind of relax. It depends on how often back to back to back to back you're singing.
I would say it's identical as well to like the perfect floor routine for a gymnast in the Olympics. They're not going to be able to do that floor routine every time you ask them to, if ever again.
Yes.
I do think it was that huge of an achievement on the day you did it, however many takes it took.
I put the key higher, like an idiot.
Yeah, you fucked
because
yourself.
I came back in and I said, I think I should do it a little higher, not because I want to show off, because I think I sound a little younger in the upper key. So, but I will say the professional thing to do is when I go to concerts is I have 2 different charts because it's 2 different keys, so that if there's a day where I've been up with Walker in the middle of the night or sick or I'm not feeling well, I look at my guy and I say, take the lower key tonight. And nobody knows the difference.
No, exactly.
Right.
Only you.
But I just remember being very sympathetic to you throughout that entire process because they kept just sending you all over the planet to sing that song. Did you do it at the Academy Awards?
Yes. And when they're one-offs, the thing about being in a Broadway show and theater or doing your own concerts, you start to get used to the sound around your band, what's going on in your ears. You got your sound guy there. He knows what you like in your microphone, the mix of what you hear, the drums, the strings, everything starts to get dialed in. When you're just on a TV show, by the way, at 7, 6 in the morning for some of those morning shows, you're in a new environment and all of a sudden, no matter what, you do a sound check early, it's just not the same. So it's really hard to get adjusted and to feel comfortable. And then there were a couple times where I've just botched that note. You know, there was New Year's Eve. I'm telling everyone now, they go back and YouTube it. It was New Year's Eve. I was asked to sing in the middle of Times Square.
Oh, boy.
It's
cold
freezing
as
on
fuck.
us.
Yeah.
And I warmed up nearby in some restaurant, some divey bathroom, so I could be nearby, so I didn't have to walk too far in the cold. I had all those hand warmers and things stuck to like my boobs and everywhere. I wore a couple layers. And I also said, I'm going to do it in the original key. I've got this. And then I got to the end. My voice had just gotten so closed down and I just sounded so raspy up there. And then all these people wrote such mean things about me.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, why did I read them? I don't know.
Oh, boy. Come on, guys. How many times does someone have to do it before you go just give them a pass?
I know.
I'm kind of glad to hear this because that's what I was sensing. And I thought, like, I already know how much anxiety she has, Kristen, over going. And she'll be the first to say it. She doesn't have to get herself in a position. You have to. So whatever the normal anxiety is, then add on to it. You're doing a high wire act. You're doing the triple fucking Lindy every time you do it. That song, you must have so much gratitude for, and you must fucking hate it. Do you have nightmares about that song?
Well, I always have weird nightmares. I have a recurring wicked nightmare. We can talk about that. But I love it so much.
It was your big trick you pulled in the Olympics.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's for life, too.
When I'm doing my concerts and I have my set list, because that's when I sing it now, when I'm touring, I don't get sick of it. And I think it's a creature being from the theater 8 shows a week is trying to find nuance and new things every night to make things fresh. And I really like that discovery process. So if I'm across from an actor, I like taking myself out of myself and focusing on someone else and what are they doing different. I like looking in the audience and thinking there's a little girl in a blue dress. I need to sing to that person. I like to figure out, I had a really bad day with something in my personal life, and it kind of informs the way I'm going to sing it. I like listening to, the bass player played something different in that part and just having a great time. So I really don't get sick. The only time I almost hate it is if I'm really not feeling that well and I know that I've got to find my way through it and not feel embarrassed.
But also, I think context is everything in that. Often when I was seeing you, it was a requirement. You don't know who's there. It's not your audience. Your show, that's the moment I imagine I'd love it the most if I were you, which is like, okay, now I get to give them this thing that I know is going to immediately make them happy.
Well, I talk about getting dropped from my label and never really having crossover. It's the one, it is the most theatrical sounding song you've ever heard, but it has been played on pop stations.
Oh, yeah, it charted.
I have what I call hit songs are not necessarily billboards, whatever, even though that
one
song
was 5, yeah.
But a song that you can hold the microphone your phone out to an audience and you don't have to sing at all, which, by the way, that's my latest trick.
Oh,
Is
smart.
just
that's smart.
give it to the audience
Yeah.
if
I'd
I'm
throw
not
a
feeling
tomato
it.
at you if you made me sing that part. And I didn't get to hear you
But
sing
that's
it.
when I have the most gratitude, when they can just sing the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I just don't
Yeah.
even have to sing it.
I've been going to more and more concerts
that
where they
must
do
feel
that.
how fun. Yeah, Taylor did that a couple times, as she should
she
have
needed
by
a little
her
break.
5th show.
Yeah.
But yeah, it must feel so weird and circuitous that you ended up with the thing you always wanted in a way that
You
you
wouldn't
had
have-
no
You
expectation
couldn't
of.
have drafted.
Well,
Yeah.
so many rules that you can't come from the theater and do this and showiness and stuff. And then all of a sudden, when I'm forgetting about it, the song that comes in is this huge, that company we're not talking about, that kind of song
Yes.
is my way to get on Billboard's top whatever. I was on the cover of Billboard
Yeah,
as,
girl.
by the way, the new It Girl, the once, I forget what it was, but it's saying like she's an It Girl, but she's been around.
Right, second time It Girl or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Long in the tooth It Girl?
Yeah.
I've never gotten to ask you about this, which upsets me, but I need to know because again, I was around you a lot when this happened.
Mm-hmm.
The Adele Dazeem.
Yes. We get so serious.
I
It's like
know.
you were about to ask me something.
I know. I thought it was
About your
going to be.
divorce or
yeah.
something. No.
I never got to ask you about that time when you were in rehab. No, I haven't been in rehab.
Yet.
Yes. Exactly.
What I mean is, I've been dying to ask you for 8 years now. When you're hearing this setup and the wickedly talented, and you know what's supposed to come next, and you hear that, what were your personal feelings? Were they codependency, compassion for him? Like, oh boy,
No.
they weren't.
They were not for him.
Okay.
They were very selfishly. Okay. So I think there were, in the intro of that song, 8 bars of no singing, band begins. And I had done a lot of mental preparations. I wanted to take this in. I wanted to be present. I've been through it. I've had highs and lows, and here I am.
Yeah, year
and I
6
want to
of the
be
Gap.
in my body, you know, and
Yeah.
take this in and not take it for granted. So I had done a lot of different things. One, I put myself in these crazy high platform shoes, which actually platforms are sturdier. They're not a stiletto. I can't like teeter, but I want to look long. So I wanted the heel. Usually I like to sing barefoot. Well, number 1. Number 2, when you're looking out there at Meryl Streep, Brad Pitt, and Amy Adams.
Dax Shepard.
You know,
Kristen.
Dax Shepard.
Yeah. Way in the back.
mention you.
Dude, I'm making fun of myself.
It was an old familiar face at that
point.
point.
Sorry, but they were right in the front row. And you know
Yes,
how,
no,
like,
I know,
in,
yeah.
in rehearsals, they have those posters with their picture on them
You're
because
right.
the camera guys are trying to rehearse where they're going to go
Yes.
for reaction shots. So I knew where they would be sitting. It's my only thing. I didn't know where you
Yeah,
would be
well, they didn't practice any reaction shots.
Anyway, here we are, 8 bars. So I also told myself, think about singing to your son when all else fails. Or I have other little tricks.
Do you also do beta blockers like Kristen?
I didn't at that time.
You didn't?
Yeah.
Okay.
That would have
Try
been a
them
good
and see if
time.
they affect my voice. I don't know
Kristen
if they
says
would.
they don't affect hers at all.
Good. I need to try that. So I thought, sing to your son. You'd think I'm thinking about really emotional things or connecting to the character of the song. I'm actually thinking about when to breathe, certain notes that I know I need to think about to set up very technical things.
Yeah.
You're
Helps
getting your
me
game plan
actually
together.
stay on a map and
That's
stay in
smart.
the moment. Because if I do that, then I'm not getting ahead of myself. And
Yes.
I know the emotion and all the things that come with it because I've done it a million times will be there.
Yeah.
So if I can do this, at least my nerves are not as much there. So then that happens, the intro happens, and then the music begins. And I immediately was like, what the fuck did he just say?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And in my head, 8 bars is probably, I don't know, 10, 11 seconds.
By the way, I'm almost shocked you heard him because it's actually hard to hear when you're there.
I know, but they preset me.
Uh-huh.
So I'm there and I hear it and I literally was like, what the fuck did you say? Oh my God. This was my moment.
Oh.
This was my time. Oh, get out of your head, bitch. Just focus on the song. Why are you feeling sorry for yourself? Sing to Walker, sing to Walker. You have the shoes on. Remember to breathe. Remember to breathe.
Oh
Wait,
my
what
God.
did he just say? Oh, my God. Brad Pitt is out there. Sing.
this
the
is-
snow glows. Yeah. All that in one, everything was happening in
whole
different
life.
planes. Yeah, my whole life.
Oh my
This
God.
is so stressful.
Yeah. But then it was the best thing. You know, I always say it was the best thing that ever happened.
Why?
Well, because all all the people that did know me were up in arms and sent so much love. And all the people that were like, what's the big fucking deal? Who is this girl? Why are they making... Then made more people get to know me.
Yeah, that's
So-
true.
That's a positive takeaway.
Yeah.
I'm watching that. And I'm Travolta in that moment. I'm dyslexic. I hate reading off a teleprompter.
Is he dyslexic?
I have no clue.
Oh,
But
okay.
me,
I feel bad of that.
I am.
Oh.
It's very easy for me to imagine being him in that moment. Oh my God, in front of everybody at the Academy Awards.
I hate reading those damn
I just
teleprompters. and the
completely
thing.
botched this. How embarrassing
think he had
and
any idea.
disrespectful. He had no idea. But the delivery was so comedic because, he had so much rhythm going into it.
Yes.
The wicked, like he was
Yes,
really
ready to do it.
I just don't understand
made for
how
the perfect fuck
got
up.
that. Didn't he practice once before?
To his credit, he says he did. And then I think the phonetic spelling might have been put in last minute on him. And so maybe that messed with him or
Okay.
something.
I could not. I mean,
What a
I will
moment.
never forget being like, what did he say? What?
But then Ellen DeGeneres was so nice because she corrected it in a really cool way that night.
I'd say for me in the many awards I've watched, that and the slap are the
there.
two most memorable
slap.
moments.
Yeah, honestly, yes.
If there were a
Top
coffee
two?
table.
Top two, right?
That's pretty good.
Pretty awesome. I'll go with that. Adrian Brody making out with Halle Berry.
Oh,
Oopsies.
yeah.
That was a no-no, right? I,
guess
can't
not
remember.
at the time.
At
we
the
just thought it was
time,
okay.
Yeah.
It didn't
Yes.
hold up.
Yeah.
It turns out
didn't
did
hold
not
up
stand the
on
test
the
of
rewatch.
time.
Okay, now let's talk about Drama Queen. I was dancing all morning to Beast and Move.
Thank you.
Both wonderful songs. Drama Queen is your new album. And a part of Drama Queen that I want to talk about is you, for numerous reasons, one of them just being known as the Queen of Broadway, the queer community, as I read in many interviews about you, you're their number one. They rally behind you. I guess I was thinking about what enormous support you have. And in many ways, this album's for those folks.
Yeah. Did I intend it? I knew that I needed to write from a personal place for anything to ever resonate with anyone else. But I knew from a lot of my friends and family in that community. And also, you know, it's funny, I'm learning that even by saying that community is othering sometimes to people. So I'm learning all of this.
Yeah, we all
Vernacular that's hard, so I keep walking things back. But anyway, I knew that there's a common theme in the characters I played and in things that I experience in my life that in no way do I walk in their footsteps, but there's a commonality in some of the themes of just empowerment and,
Yeah.
and wanting to embrace this uniqueness that we
And
have.
feeling other and feeling
Exactly.
judged.
are
Yes.
marginalized.
Right.
Yeah.
And even, well, we won't get into that. Elsa is, by many people's accounts,
Yeah.
a metaphor for someone running from their true self.
We're going to get into that. We were
Yeah,
going to talk
yeah,
about
yeah.
before. I was going to say the other thing that I get asked all the time is about what she represents or what she may
Her sexual
explore.
orientation.
Yeah. And then they ask, how would I feel? And it's like, I would love that.
My curiosity, though, when I thought about being one of the mascots for a community that you're not actually technically a member of, in at least
an
your
ally.
sexual orientation, to me is like if I found out that the chess players of America fucking love me, I was their guy.
Right. You're a chess player?
I'm not.
Oh,
That's the thing.
If you were talking about how great it is to be a chess player,
That
how
would
much
make
you
sense.
respect, or how how inclusive you are of chess players, they might do that.
Well, maybe, yeah, but this didn't start as a campaign to support LGBTQ. This was she was herself
Right.
and played these roles, and that emerged.
it's chicken or the egg. I always try to figure that out. People, I say, how did you select these roles? It's like, I didn't select these roles, especially Rent too. I was playing a gay
Right.
character. So I was auditioning very hard. These roles did not come to me, and nor did the thing that we don't talk about that I did with your wife. We had to audition for that too. So it's only now that theatrical roles come to me and I can sort of say yes or no. I still audition for TV and film stuff.
Yeah, it's not like you made active choices.
Yeah, it's just like
Right.
you
Oh, so
finding
I
out a
wonder,
group
maybe-
that you're not really in to find out that they love you kind of universally. To me, I would just be kind of tickled by that. Bad analogy?
No, not a bad
It
analogy.
feels wrong.
It feels
Monica's
more...
got a grimace on her face. She's a little
It's not
nervous
a grimace.
about this.
I'm just thinking it
There's more
through.
connecting threads
guess if anyone can relate to any of your characters and people can feel seen.
Well, that's all wonderful for sure. But you actually go and you've done lots of concerts at Pride parades and
Yes,
stuff.
I've been doing that with this album especially.
So now imagine me going to like the Chess Players Conference.
But I go so I can say thank you, honestly, because I feel like they have informed me all these years with how to play some of these roles. Their willingness to lead their lives with such purity and authenticity and courage, honestly, especially in this time that we're living in now. It's an opportunity to say thanks. Plus, they've supported me all these years through all of my creative choices. And I don't mean to once again say it's a monolith of people or whatever, but this community has supported all these choices, even when I've taken different directions musically. They bought the albums. I mean, I get asked all the time, what makes a gay icon? I ask all my gay friends and they all tell me different things. I don't know what it is because they're like, well, you're theatrical. I'm like, so you're stereotyping a bunch of gay people and saying that they like musical theater? That's a stereotype.
It may be a stereotype, but I've yet to meet a gay dude that didn't love Mariah Carey. I don't know what to tell you. I could pretend I live in a world where that's not the case.
Yeah, so there's something about really powerful women, big voices.
Let it rip.
But we're about to sound so stupid, but the whole mother thing.
This is new to me. I'm just getting hip to this.
I'm sure people refer to you as mother.
Sometimes I see it.
Inform me.
I'm also just learning about it, so I feel very ill-informed, and I'm probably going to sound so stupid, but yeah, in the LGBTQ community, a lot of women are deemed mother.
Okay.
And it's often strong, powerful women. Well, part of it says from 1720s London to RuPaul's Drag Race. The slang term without an article in front is used by fans, brands, and sometimes even mothers themselves. It derives from the Black and Latino LGBTQ ballroom scene, a queer subculture in which members are organized into so-called houses often led by mother. The word's current use, however, veers campier and is mostly used as a term of endearment for famous women with avid devotees.
Yep, so it's lovely.
Okay, well, that was an interesting detour.
We figured it out. New York Times.
My point being is it's been really amazing to go around and sing this music during this time with all of these people that I love.
It's very dance and disco-y, which I absolutely love. But that's kind of new for you, no?
In album form, definitely.
Yeah, you as a writer.
Yeah.
We have your Christmas album.
Yeah.
We absolutely love it. I'm familiar with some of the body of work, but this to me seems new.
This makes me happy. I wanted people to get up and dance and not be so behaved. I think the theater community, not always behaved. Sometimes they're not good. They don't turn off their phones and they crinkle a lot of candy wrapper.
Okay.
But I don't want them to feel so behaved. When I go to London at 1 a.m, I surprise a bunch of people at GAY. It's this club. It's actually called Heaven, and it's part of the GAY circuit.
Okay.
And they are pressed up against the stage to the point that I could practically stage dive, something I've always wanted to do, and I never could
You
because
got
of the
it.
music that I'm known for. I don't stage dive.
You got to do it now.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is a bunch of muscular gay men or women actually would catch me.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'd be very
Absolutely.
supportive.
I would be supported. But I have the most wonderful time. The energy is electric. We're singing together. We're dancing. We're reminiscing. In the past, when I've done it, I've just loved it so much that over quarantine, when I was thinking, what kind of music do I want to do? And what do I want to do that I'm not overthinking it, that I'm not trying to be formulaic, that I'm not trying to do what I think people want me to do or a label or what would sell. I just want to do something that's going to be fun for me that I could bring back to GAY in London at 1 a.m. and kick ass, you know?
Yeah.
And that really was my impetus for a lot of this album. And then I got dancers, which I've always said I wasn't going to have because I'm not a dancer and I'm not good at it at all. But I had this choreographer who I love so much. They can make you look so good. And I had these fabulous hot dancers behind me throwing down. And then they sort of push me into the direction that I'm supposed to go.
Oh, they
Sometimes
gently
and they'll
herd
gently
you.
like get to the
Love
right.
it.
I just had so much fun. And so these pride festivals are like thousands and thousands of people up against the stage. You know, they're not sitting with their hands clasped in their laps. No disrespect to
No,
Carnegie
they
Hall.
they're owning their body.
GAY is pretty awesome.
Yes, that's where I would want to perform if I were you. It does make me sad, though, that you have the list of things that you got to well, they're going to think this or they'll think that or they'll reject it for this
You
and
know,
that.
that's just neuroses.
Has that gotten, well, we already kind of talked about it. It's gotten worse.
I think it gets worse, but then depends on what headments I'm on. It clears up once in a while, and then if I forget for 2 days and I'm traveling, it's a little extra. But Nile Rodgers was the guy that mentored me on this album and wrote some stuff, and he's the one that I called and I said, can I do this? Because I had met him a couple times through some other gigs. And he's the one that, look at Barbara. She went and had a disco moment. And Donna Summer's an amazing singer.
My favorite song ever
Cher
is
had a
Guilty
dance with
the Bee Gees.
Barry
Gibb.
Barry
Yeah.
Gibb.
There's one other song. My husband and I just played these. Did they have a whole full album? Or was
I
it just two
only
songs?
have the one
I let
single.
the woman in love.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I do anything.
But Guilty?
I think they were
we
having
got
an
nothing
affair
to feel
after.
guilty.
Sounds like it.
Our
The lyrics
love.
are
Yeah,
very
we have nothing to feel guilty for.
Very
Our
open.
love.
Yeah.
We'll climb any mountain.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, I recruited people that would give me some street cred.
Yeah.
So we did that. Jake Shears from Scissor Sisters.
And you wrote Beast in a Day, right?
Yeah, with Sir Nolan and Simon Wilcox. Most of these songs, when I put myself in a room with people that are much better than me at collaborating, because I just throw the kitchen sink at people at this point. When I used to try to write all by myself, it was just it's torture for me. I don't like it. I don't know how to make good decisions. I don't know how to edit myself. And I just feel very lonely writing music
And
like
the
that.
self-doubt
Yeah.
voice
So now
is
I just
quite
put
loud.
myself in a room with people that really know how to write great songs, and I just kind of vomit my life so they can exploit it for a great
Yes.
song. And I'm very vulnerable and very willing to tell some of these stories.
People get in their own way when they try to do everything by themselves.
It's true. And then I sing my melodies and I sing my lyrics and I just go, I have all this. What do you think? What's the chorus? What's the verse? What's the bridge? And I'm like, oh, that's a great hook right there. And then I have so much fun.
Yeah. I'm guessing, though, that leading up to it, there's all those voices. But then when you're physically doing the thing you know how to do, it goes away. Once you're actively doing the thing you're
when
afraid
it's
of.
pure, then I feel transported, and it's my closest thing to a belief in some kind of otherness and spirituality, because I'm not very religious. So it's the thing that I feel I'm where I'm supposed to be, where I feel happy and free and all of that. It just doesn't always happen. And then if you ask me about it, I usually can't tell you what happened because I don't remember, because I am sort of,
You're
in a
in
flow state.
yeah.
Well, would you say that this album came easier to you than others?
I think I took the expectation off. I didn't have a record label, so I just did it. I
Yeah.
paid for a lot of it myself. I just didn't adhere to any rules, and also said, I don't care who's going to listen to it. Just do it because you want to do it, and work with people you want to work with. Have fun. Sing about a lot of happy things and have great grooves, great bass lines.
Well, I love it. And, I've always enjoyed being around you for these last 10 years. I'm
Thank
always happy
you.
when I see you.
I love your family.
Oh, thank you.
you
Thank
have
you.
beautiful women in your
Well,
in
you
your
have that
life.
beautiful boy.
I
I think
do.
he was probably 7 the last time I
It
saw
feels
him.
like your girls pay more attention to you than my son
Well,
does.
how old is
He's
he?
turning 14 next
Ah,
week.
that age.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what a year. 8th grade he's going into?
Yeah. Oh, when he gets sleepy, he forgets that he's a teenager and he holds my hand. Or like if he falls asleep on the couch and I say, "Come on, honey, go into your own bed," he kind of wakes up and then he says, "Okay, love you, mommy." And I feel almost like I've been manipulative.
You should pepper his meals with melatonin.
A little
Exactly.
something.
and get him a little drowsy
Yeah.
for the rest of the evening.
Once again, it's like a selfish from the parent's perspective. It's like, I need to feel loved. I need you to tell me you love me.
You're my purpose. Please confirm that
Yes,
for me.
exactly.
Yes.
I'm doing a good job.
Good
you
boy.
like me.
Yeah. Good girl.
It's horrible. I feel like I see your girls and they just never say anything mean to you guys.
Oh, no. They let it rip.
They let it rip. But what is your take on if they say something that does trigger something in you, whether they're trying to because they're in a mood or they just say something inadvertently? But I so much don't want him to see me get unsettled. I want to be this sort of tree trunk that's just strong, and maybe my branches bend and move and I'm malleable, but sometimes I want to cry. So I dismiss myself. Maybe I go up into my room and just like, I'm the worst mother. He hates me. Or I feel like sometimes he needs to know that words are powerful and that was hurtful. And so I'm sort of always kind of wrestling
Trying to
with
balance
this.
that. I think they say a lot of stuff that's just bullshit. They're trying to get an effect out of you or a reaction. And there are other times where they are unaware of how hurtful they're being. And I think in those moments, it's your obligation to educate them on that. Not to shame them, but just like, well, this had this
Yeah.
effect on me. I'm inoculated from it through arrogance, which is, and I'm being sincere. There's only a single thing I thought I've done great on planet Earth, and it's be a dad. So like when they tell me I'm a shitty dad and I don't ever want to see you, I just don't buy it. Yeah, I can show you what a shitty dad's like. I'm not that. I don't have a fear of being a shitty dad, so it never really bothers me. And then sometimes I'm like, but I do need to let them know, like, this is very mean-spirited what you're saying. And I will sincerely say, hey, I don't deserve that. You know I don't deserve that. And I leave it at that. I'm out. And then they can think about whether I did or didn't deserve that.
Right. I get worried that my tears in some way, that's why I don't want him to see me cry, but I want him to see women strong, but also having these
No,
emotions.
I
But I
think
think
it's
it's
totally-
manipulative in a way because when he does see me cry, he doesn't feel so badly. And it's like, I don't want to use tears in order to
Yeah.
evoke a certain response.
I think we'd agree probably all things are much better talked about an hour after the whole thing happened, regardless,
You're
right?
talking about my husband. Yeah.
That's
Who's
his
a therapist,
strategy.
by the way.
Oh, he is. You married your mother and not your father. Interesting. I thought he might have been a pajama salesman.
No,
in
he
the past.
runs an inpatient facility out in Malibu.
Oh, he does?
2 houses, addiction and mental illness.
Incredible.
Yeah, he's amazing.
So he's good at letting all the emotions
Well, he's good at
dissipate
telling
before.
me to not press send.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I
Pause
like
when agitated,
that.
we say in a
Yeah. Ooh,
Not press send is a great way of
just
hearing
don't
it.
press it. Run it by me. Take the bite out of that just a little bit. What he always tells me, my son, is, okay, leave it now. I tend to over talk, over analyze.
But you're still a person. And so if you're going to cry, I mean, maybe it's not like you cry every single time,
Right.
but yeah, if something's impacting you, it's almost a disservice to him to think we're not full people.
Exactly.
We don't just have to be little weak criers or super strong and stiff. We're
I
everything.
know.
Yeah, it's all gradients. I also don't think children should be in charge of regulating their parents' fucking emotions, right? So that's another dedication I have is like, I had people like that around me. Have your shit together. How about that as
Yes,
a parent?
that's what I'm
You
saying.
be stable. There's merit to that. It's not very clear what we're all supposed to be doing. You know,
It is
a
not
lot
clear.
of trial and error. Every day there's a new thing. They're getting older. There's a new thing.
Just when you think you have it
Oh, yeah.
together, then something doesn't affect them anymore. It does.
All I
Yeah.
really care about, and I'm not great at it, is we've, for whatever reason, this whole group, we've been in a little spiral of watching these videos of Delta when she was like 2, because she was just impossibly cute and belligerent.
Well, yeah,
and
the one I was just
blockheaded.
saying about Elsa and Anna.
Yes, yes, yes. So we've been in this little spiral of doing that lately, watching these videos, sending them to each other. And all I really want to remember is all those moments were perfect. This one is too. I'm going to be watching a video of this in 12 years, and I'm going to want to come back to
Yes.
right now. So all I really want to do is recognize, like, right now is the spot to be, and it's great no matter what. And I'll always want to come back to this
Yes,
thing,
and
you know?
being imperfectly perfect.
Yes.
Is the thing. Did I say it in the order that I like?
Perfectly imperfect.
imperfect.
It almost sounds like it could be a song from one of these.
Perfectly imperfect.
Yeah. I'm perfectly imperfect. That's
It
tough
probably
that
is.
it's im. I'm gonna have to work on that.
Is
Let
the
me
lyrics,
workshop
it doesn't
that.
flow?
Yeah, we're gonna have to break it up or something. Well, Idina, it was so nice to see you.
It was such an
Yeah,
honor to be on this
thanks for
amazing
coming.
show.
Oh, come
I
on.
really
now.
appreciate
And you have a
having
stack
me.
of children's books. Will you please just tell us really quick?
My sister and I write these children's books together. The first one's called Loud Mouse, about a little mouse like me.
I'm also a mouse.
She's miniature mouse.
You are?
Yeah, that's her nickname.
Really?
Miniature
miniature
mouse.
Oh, well, it's about when I was little and had this big voice, and I wasn't sure how much to take up space with it and bring attention to myself, and how I think as a lot of young girls, especially, we're not sure how to do that. And my sister's in this one, and the follow-up's about my sister, who was always sort of walking around in my shadow. All the teachers saying, "Do you
Yeah.
sing?" So it's more about just curiosity and finding herself. Oh my God, I love her so much. She really is the brains behind this because she's the teacher and she's a literacy specialist. So the way that she approaches the language and the way she writes is very in tune with the age.
Monica,
and
this whole
so I brought these
series
for
is
the
about
girls.
you. Proud mouse, loud mouse.
Proud
Yeah, I
mouse.
don't know if I was loud. I am now.
Now you're loud.
Now
as
I'm so
fuck.
loud.
You got a megaphone
But that
hanging
and
out of
then
your
Proud
ass.
Mouse
yeah.
is probably your
Yeah,
the book
maybe
for
that's
you.
Proud.
So yeah, it's out there.
How
The Mouse
sweet.
series.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's your nickname?
Miniature
Miniature
mouse.
mouse.
Dax gave me that when we started this.
How come?
Doesn't she look like Minnie Mouse a little bit? Because she's so miniature.
Yeah, I haven't really seen you
She
standing.
says
Yeah.
she's 5 feet, half inch.
I am.
But she's 4'11.5.
That is such a lie. I am 5 feet and a half inch, if not taller now.
Yes, and she has those little flats on, which
Yeah,
is
and you see
about a
her
centimeter.
feet don't even make it towards the edge of
Well,
yeah.
either do
But
yours.
she's
Yeah.
a big girl, though.
Shut up. You're so patronizing.
No, you're my favorite kind of recipe. A miniature person that's powerful as all fuck.
Yes.
That's my favorite.
It's a good type. No, I was wearing a headband once, and you were like, "You look like Minnie Mouse,"
Yeah.
and then
That's how it
really
came out.
took off.
Minnie Mouse was already taken, it turns out.
Yeah.
That's already an IP
Exactly.
that we're not allowed to
Unfortunately.
use. So miniature mouse became
That's
Oh,
right.
I
We
love
shouldn't even
that.
be calling me that during the strike.
miniature mouse.
Oh God,
I think of a miniature mouse as more of a
animal.
Minnie Mouse makes me think of, well, there's Minnie Mouse.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then there's Minnie Me.
All right,
true.
Mini-Me. What else
Lots of
we got that's
minis.
mini submarine sandwiches? Those are tasty. Anyways,
Oh, boy,
this
we
series is
digress.
for you.
I brought these for the girls.
Okay, that was very
and
nice
I
of you.
brought 2 and 2 because I never know if they like to share or not.
And there's not an answer for that. Some days they do, some days they
Kristen
don't.
said it was okay to just sign their both names on one.
Yes, that's probably
very
best.
sweet.
And then I think miniature mouse should get
Yes.
proud mouse or
copies.
loud
Yeah,
mouse. It's her
yes.
birthday on Thursday.
That's right.
Happy birthday, my new friend.
Thank you. I know this was so fun.
Miniature
Adore
friend.
you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
The themes of the day, which I'm a little embarrassed of, were neuroses, introverts, head
These are great
meds.
things.
This sounds
Head
like
meds.
a real
We can relate to
downer.
all of those things.
That's pretty much how they all are, though. They're not about victory laps and stand on stages with trophies. They're about 6 years of figuring out should you stay the course, and they're about losing people in your life. I mean, that's what
And
it's
they're
about.
about falling into a pit and breaking your rib and having
Yes.
green on your face.
But then looking like a gangster in a red Adidas tracksuit.
Exactly, and drag.
When life gives you a fall through a pit, I don't know.
oh boy.
Life isn't a bowl of pits. I'm a malaprop queen.
What's that?
Malaprops are when you say sayings wrong.
Oh,
So,
I didn't
like,
know
that's
that.
called-
I always get them wrong. So I've never said this, but this is one. Like, life is a bowl of cherries. I would be like, life's a bowl of strawberries. You know,
Yes.
Right.
don't put the
Saved.
horse before the ride. Or,
Yes,
you know,
yes. Penny
something
saved is a
is-
penny
is
in
a
the
quarter.
bank.
Yeah.
Is 1/25th of your way to a
Yeah,
quarter.
I always get them wrong all the time.
Well, I adore you, and I will
Love
see
you
a
all.
bunch of you in the coming years.
Yes, you will.
Stay tuned for the fact check so you can hear all the facts that were wrong.
We're live. We're not live.
Not live.
We're not
That
live.
was a
This is
lie.
3 days ago. Yeah. The consensus was the verdict went your way. You know, we have these debates.
People have been chiming in.
Yes, and sometimes it goes my way, and sometimes it goes your way. And this one would appear to have gone your way, which is at least the people who felt inclined to say something are mostly of the opinion. Don't try to act like it's a different day.
Yeah.
We get it.
We know.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
I
you
did
know
read
what?
one,
They're
and you know, I
smart.
put a lot of belief in the one I read that agreed with me, but it's kind of hard to ignore.
Yeah.
Consensus.
Okay.
It is funny though how quickly news moves. That even though in general there's no problem, it is often where it's like it's kind of crazy they didn't say anything about that, right? Like things just pop
But that's
up.
even more reason why we should be saying
You're
we're
right,
not
to
on
be
the day.
transparent.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, today's a good one because it's closer than normal. Normally we do Monday and Thursday,
Yeah. Thursday or
but
Friday.
today's Friday.
Yeah.
So it's a little better.
Well, it's September 11th right now.
Oh, see,
God.
good call.
See, now and we would have been in mourning. People would have been like, why are they so chipper?
Exactly.
It's 9/11. But it's not. For us, it's 9/9.
Yeah.
Or 9/8. What is it?
9/8.
Do you have big plans this weekend?
No.
No.
Do you?
No.
Should we hang out?
Let's party.
Okay, so we're gonna hang out this weekend.
Uh-huh.
What else?
What else is happening?
I went to. I can't say too much because we're gonna do a whole episode on Halloween episode. Halloween lands on a Tuesday this year, so there will be a flightless bird on that Tuesday.
Okay. Ding,
and
ding,
so
ding.
obviously it will be a
Oh,
on brand.
Yes, because last night you had an outing.
Yeah.
How was it?
Scary.
You got scared?
Of course.
Because you really get scared, right?
Yes, you know me.
I know, but I just can't relate to it at all.
You would get scared if something pops out in your face, right?
I have been spooked by people.
Yeah.
Josh Duhamel once on the set of When in Rome was filming at night on the streets of New York. He was hiding in a doorway when I walked by. He leapt out at me, and he got me.
Yeah.
I remember it.
And was your reaction to punch?
So I was very disappointed that it wasn't.
Well, I'm glad it wasn't because you would
Now-
have hurt his face.
I didn't instinctively punch, but I turned to see who the person was, and I saw it was Josh.
Yeah.
So I do believe that had it been not Josh,
Of
a punch
course.
would have come next.
Of course.
But I did have some kind of shame that it wasn't just I was punching as I was getting scared, but that was not the case.
Can I relieve you that that's a good thing?
I don't know. I'd prefer I just punched first.
No,
and
'cause what if-
identified later? What if it was Delta?
Yeah. You
Yeah,
have
I
to be
wouldn't-
careful.
I wouldn't want to hit a child
Or
if they
me.
scared or a woman. Yeah,
That's why Molly loves you so much.
yeah.
Because you wouldn't hit a woman.
That's such a high bar I've set.
Oh my God, I know.
Easter egg.
So I
Got scared.
got scared bad.
Do you hate the feeling? You must hate the feeling of being scared, or you like it.
I
I imagine.
hate it, actually. So we went to Universal Horror Nights.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't know how much we want to say, but when you first get in there, you walk through the park and then there's all the haunted houses and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The haunted house is a type of scary that I am fine with.
Which is?
I mean,
Pop outs?
Yeah, they're pop outs, but you know what you're doing.
Right. You don't like when you're like walking between attractions and someone in the crowd is posing.
Exactly.
Right.
In order to get to the houses, you walk down this path and it's the chainsaw people.
Mm-hmm.
And I like really hate that.
Right. Now, I hate that, but for a much different reason, I think.
Okay, why do you hate it?
You're interacting with an actor. Like when you
Yeah.
turn and then you look at them and then they carry on in character as they're supposed to do.
Right.
That's what gives me the heebie-jeebies. Like, oh, now I'm participating
Oh my
in it,
God.
and they're never going to act normal.
Right.
And I don't love that. Like, I want my acting to happen on a stage.
I
not,
get that.
Right?
I didn't-
like
I-
these, like Tony and Teresa's wedding or whatever.
Yeah.
Tina
yeah.
Turner's wedding.
Yeah.
Whatever that play was.
Yes.
And like you're in the bathroom and people are like, hey, fucking what's up? You got a comb? Like,
I know.
I can't do that.
I know.
I love Tony. You know, don't tell nobody, but I slept with Tina. All right, peace out. And now you're an accomplice.
I know you.
I've made up a lot of what happens in the Tina's.
Yeah, this is all alleged.
Yeah.
I don't like that either because I hate audience participation.
Right.
That's my
this
number
is the
one hate.
ultimate audience
It
participation.
is. But this is not doesn't feel like that because they're in so much makeup and mask that like I'm not seeing a person.
Right.
And so it doesn't feel like an actor. It just feels like a really scary predator.
I know what happens because this happens at the haunted hayride.
Okay.
They come out and they're boo, ah, ah. You're like, oh, good. And I give them a fake scream and everything. I want them to feel like.
Fake. You can be honest that you scream for real. You're supposed to be vulnerable. That's why
I
Molly
don't.
likes
I end up getting codependent and then pretending I was scared for these people. And then once it's over, and then they kind of just linger and keep at it. But I'm like, we already did this. Like, you spooked us. I gave you a
Right.
reaction. And now you're just acting weird
Right.
in real life. Like, go on to the next person.
Yeah.
That to me is.
But they also know if you're going to, which sounds like you give them a half reaction, but if you're really scared, and I learned this quick,
Okay.
that obviously you're a big target
They're
if
gonna-
you're really scared.
Like
And
a
so you-
gorilla.
Yes, sure. Yeah.
gorilla.
If you show your fear.
Oh, right. Yeah. But I thought you meant like a guy in a gorilla costume,
No.
which I think they had.
Oh, they have one of those? Oh,
Yeah.
good.
And I because I was really not expecting it.
Uh-huh.
How close they get and how
How
like
could you have not been expecting it? I guess that's maybe part of the difference.
don't victim shame me. I mean,
But you're at a haunted
that's like
attraction.
you wore that short skirt. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You're not doing that. But no, I didn't.
It's like saying that the engine noises were too loud when you went to the monster trucks. It's like
I hate when that happens.
But if you go to monster trucks, how could you not?
I didn't know that the ones there'd be some roaming.
Okay.
I thought it was
even
just
though
haunted
you have
houses.
experienced that many times before.
I've never gone there.
No, but any haunted hayride, any of these things you go to, they're going to have people wandering around. They've
I
had
don't
that.
remember that from the hayride.
Oh yeah, they're everywhere. They're
Oh.
crawling all over the place, scampering in and out of things.
I've only been to the hayride once, and it was a really long time ago, and I don't remember that.
Okay.
And then my other experiences with haunted houses have been when I was younger in Atlanta, we would go, but they were just the haunted house.
Right. Walk
So-
through the rooms.
I
Nothing
didn't-
in the parking lot.
Yeah, I didn't know about this. I mean, I saw when they were walking, like, oh God, but I didn't know they would get that close.
Can we act out one and I'll be playing like you do
killer?
everything natural.
Okay.
And then I'll try to do what I'm trying to explain they do, right? So, okay, you're walking around. Okay.
David, is the mic on? Because ew. No, stop. That's not what they do. Don't. They're not cats. Stop.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like at that point, you're like, you already scared me.
Okay.
We don't need 7. Don't go to the well. That's what it is. I don't like when they go to the well.
I know.
Get one and done. You get the spook and then on to the next.
I know. Well, okay. Okay. Well, that was much more uncomfortable because I was a cat you made.
Well, let's try a different one. Okay. Go ahead. Take 2.
Hey, so I was. That's so loud. Okay.
See, it's terrible,
Okay,
isn't
you've
it?
obviously never been to this. They're not animals, okay? They're scary.
All right.
Take 3.
Okay, you ready?
Hey, I'm really. Do you think we're gonna get pizza?
I'm gonna kill you, little person. You're dead.
Okay.
I'm taking you into the corner.
Ew.
Yes.
Shut up.
Roar.
Okay.
Now you're dead.
Okay.
Yeah.
You are doing a disservice to the horror
You
night.
don't think I'm
'cause
representing
no,
them very
they're
honestly?
much
It-
scarier
it
than
might
that.
just- I think it's turning out that I've never experienced this.
I know. You say the hayride, and I'm like, that doesn't sound.
They run up on the hayride with the fake chainsaw or real chainsaw, no blade, and they come and they smash it on the
But
side
that's
of the thing.
while you're in the
But then
ride.
like after they smash it down, like just once, that's what it was. It was, but then they'll just stay there.
I know, but you're on the hayride.
Mm-hmm.
It's different than walking. Like,
They have them though as
they
well
do?
walking.
Okay.
Yes, I promise.
well, anyway, I was walking. And this chainsaw guy comes up, and I screamed really loud and like jolted a little bit.
Right.
And I thought, yeah, then that's over.
Any pee?
No.
Okay.
Then I thought, okay, that's over. But then no, he's hovering by me.
That's the
And so but it was scary. It was not like, oh, this actor won't leave me alone. And so I started running.
okay.
And then he
His
did chase
instincts
after
of
me.
course.
And then I just stood by this tree and I just stared at the tree and he was lingering.
Think of the liability these companies have that do this because you're entrusting someone like, okay, so he chased you. What if you fell and fucking broke your nose?
Or what if I fell and he then fell on me with his chainsaw?
Wait.
No. Dax, why do you have to do that?
Well, he fell on you. It seems crazy. So if you're going that far, what if he fell on me? His penis rubbed against.
Of course no. God.
Okay. All right.
If I tripped and someone's right on my heels, they could easily trip.
And land right on you.
Yes.
It feels like a lot of liability because they're making
agree.
huge judgment calls.
Yes.
How far did they take it? I want to be privy to the meeting with the management.
Yeah.
Saying, all right, gang, here are the rules here at Haunted. What's it called? Haunted Mansion.
Horror nights.
Tina and Tana's wedding.
Well, even
Here are
that.
Yes. Okay. So.
Because like, what if someone's having a heart attack? Do you stay in character?
Oh, you'd never break character.
Yeah.
All right, Cass, our first night out, Tony and Tony's wedding. Listen now, the folks in the bathroom, you can be around the basins, the sinks, the hair dry, the hand dryer, the
What
towels.
about the toilets?
No. What about urinals? Okay, yeah, you can be by the urinal because there's no door, but people do have a presumed sense of privacy when they're behind the door. So yes, urinals are fine.
Can I
To
show
an-
my penis?
Absolutely not.
But my character has a penis and would show it because he's a
Wait, what,
predator.
you would?
Yeah,
He or she would?
he's a predator.
Oh, then of course.
Okay, good.
He's a flasher.
Exactly. Or
Pederast?
what if your character was a voyeur? Then you would peep into the bathroom.
yes.
They do have some of the rooms where like you sign a waiver and you allow them to touch you.
Oh.
Okay, never.
Like
I'm
yeah, those are like the
never
insane
doing
haunted
that.
house. I think David did one on Dark Tourist.
Oh, really? And they can,
And
can
he
they
gave
punch
up.
you?
He
or-
gave up because they
Oh.
like kidnap you.
Okay,
Oh,
that's no.
This feels sexual. Again, they're related emotions, I think.
Okay.
I don't think it's
fear
crazy. Fear and arousal. It's arousal.
It is arousal.
Yeah.
That is true. And it must be why a lot of people like it.
Was
And
David protective of you when
at first, then he turned.
he turned on you?
He was protective in the first house.
But maybe he just thought this is untenable. She's so messed up the whole time. There's no way I have the endurance for
Okay,
this.
I just feel like if you take someone on a haunted
This sounds
house.
romantic, by the way.
Well, I did think, not for us, obviously, we're there to do an episode of a show, but of course you're going to bring a date on this because I could not help. I was like,
holding
I was
David's
arm
waist and
like
arm.
just like clinging
Yes.
because it's so visceral and you have no control over that reaction.
Right.
So if you are a predator, can I suggest you can take your date to one of these because they will be on you, and that's in some ways.
Can we start a segment
consent.
called Monica's Tips for Predators?
Yeah, of course.
Great. Today's tip for predators.
And then you could be like, "Well, she was touching me. She touched my waist."
Right. She's the predator. Did David embrace you back? Did he pull you tighter into him?
No,
Oh. Did he ever take
I
your
was
head
mainly-
and hide it in his chest?
no.
Oh, you can imagine that,
We're
right?
walking through the thing, and it's not. No, God, Jesus. Okay, you can't really walk that well two at a time because you're going through these tiny areas,
Turnstiles?
and then there's curtain. It's like all these curtains. So really, I was just behind him,
Holding
and
his
yeah. But
His
then
hips?
he turned.
Okay. Were you grabbing his hips?
I don't remember that.
I would imagine with his height and picturing. I guess the valiant thing was for him to go first.
Right.
Although most of the attacks happen from the back. That's kind of a novice
No,
move.
they don't. They pop out like in front of you or on the side.
Okay.
So in
And then
front
you
was
grabbed his hips
We
really
have like the backpack
tightly.
with the leash for David.
Connected with a little.
the back of him was the right. Like it was better for me to be behind him so he could absorb the fear.
Yeah.
But then he thought it was so funny that I was so scared. So then he stood behind him and was taking video.
Okay.
So then I was on my own, and that was bad. And at one point, he tapped me, and I like smacked him because
Oh my
I definitely
God.
was like, "Why'd you?" Like
You were
he
on
was,
edge.
he was trying to. I thought be scary, but then later he said he was just trying to check in on me.
He's lying.
Yeah, he was
Right.
lying.
It's an act of kindness.
Anyway,
Sounds very romantic.
I think if you are interested in going on a date over Halloween, it's a good idea.
Yeah, get people touching.
Yeah, it'll get you touching.
Get touching.
So anyway, it was fun, and it did get me in the spirit.
It did. Nice and early.
I know. So I do think one thing I will do this weekend is put up my pumpkins,
Okay.
start my decor.
Because we're 2 months away.
I know.
I mean, summer,
Just send it.
if it even did. Is it even ended?
Technically, because I think Labor Day is technically the end of it, right?
That's ceremonially,
Yeah,
but I don't know if it.
ceremonially. Not
like-
weather-wise.
Yeah, I don't know.
But-
September 23rd
Oh.
is when autumn officially arrives. But I have seen people putting up Halloween decorations
Yeah.
already.
I know.
But summer's not over is my point.
Yeah, but we're moving on.
Okay. All right.
My Halloween costume arrived.
You're not old enough to observe this.
Okay.
Sorry. Halloween costume. I really want to know
Okay,
what it is.
we'll put
but I'm 48.
Yes, I know.
I am certain that summer comes a little later and lasts longer than it used to when I was younger.
Is that because we live here, though?
Well, you would think so, but I was just in Michigan. I don't know. That's a great question. I feel like I brought this up to Aaron and he agreed.
Oh, because I feel like it's because we live here and it is legitimately hot on Halloween. So,
Well, the hottest month we have is September generally
yeah.
and October.
right. Like next week, we're back in a heat wave.
But I also know up in Washington, their nicest month is September. That's when it's their warmest.
But, it's a warmest?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. And it was 95 degrees on September 1st in Detroit.
Well, this is climate change.
1980, the autumnal equinox was the 22nd of September,
Oh, it's the same.
and June 20th.
But it being the weather is new.
I was thinking more of the oscillation. You know how Earth is on an axis and then it's wobbling on the axis. And it takes a long time for the wobble. I think it's like 70,000 years or something. Yeah. But in that wobble, things are changing.
Yeah.
But clearly 48 years out of the 68,000 probably isn't observable in my lifetime, but it certainly feels like it is.
Well, I mean, look, right now in Duluth, Georgia, it's 85 degrees. That's hot for September there, I think. So it is staying hotter longer. That's true.
That's the truth.
That's the warming of the
Okay, now your
earth.
Halloween costume.
Oh, yeah. Okay, are we allowed to say? So we're going as a pot. What? What?
Like there's an embargo on.
Well, I haven't asked
On our-
Kristen if we're allowed to say.
It's like a wedding where it's unlucky if you say
Yes.
it before.
Oh my God, didn't even think about luck. Knock on wood.
Okay.
We are doing a pod Halloween Harry Potter.
Yes.
Harry Potter.
Podder.
Oh
Podder.
my God. And so we're all going to be different characters and it's really exciting. And I'm going to be Rita Skeeter.
Tell us, who's Reader Skeeter?
She's the bad journalist.
Oh, she is. She's naughty.
She's naughty.
What does she dress like?
She wears a silk lime bright green skirt and jackety thing with like a fur collar
Oh, wow.
and red glasses.
Ooh. Sarah Jessica Raphael's?
Yep. And
Sally Jesse Raphael's.
Isn't that a weight loss?
Sally Jesse Raphael had a show like Donahue.
Oh, right.
And she always had colored frames.
Oh,
You're generally red.
Okay, well then yes.
SJRs.
And she has this really cool quill because she's a journalist.
And she writes by hand still.
Because she keeps leaking out stuff. And people don't understand how the stuff is getting out. And it's because she's an unregistered animagus.
Animagus?
She turns into a fly, but it's unregistered.
Oh, flies. Ding, ding, ding.
I know. I'm meant to be her.
Yeah.
And she zips around, so she's getting all this gossip.
Okay.
But you have to be registered as
And
an
are you going to be
animagus.
in character or just wearing an outfit? Like, are you going to be walking around trying to get gossip?
Turn into a-
Because then it could,
Now
you could
you're
end
worried
up
I'm
being
gonna be
one of these performers.
I think I might.
Oh boy. You know, I had a real hard time with we one time went to a kind of mystery birthday party.
I was going to ask you. We've done it twice. You don't like it?
I don't like the time we did it with just our tight knit group,
Yeah.
I liked it.
Okay.
Another time we did it was with much more people,
Yeah.
and I really didn't like it.
Yeah.
I did not like it at all. It felt like being forced to do an entire comedy night of stand-up. First time ever. First
Yeah.
time up on a microphone and do
know.
3 hours of that.
You know what's funny? I have a very fond memory of that evening.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I was working for you guys yet or I had just started.
Okay. You saw me at my worst then.
No, you asked me to come sit with you and chat.
Outside by the pool.
Yeah, and I
Uh-huh.
remember it.
Yeah.
And it was really nice that you asked me to do that.
Well, as you remember,
It's
I always
so-
liked you, remember?
Yes, and
Yeah.
it is so weird that that's you. Like I have such a cognitive dissonance around the person
At
then
that party.
versus you and me now and
Yeah.
our relationship. It's so weird.
Right. Our power dynamic has dramatically shifted.
But just like the intimacy, like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
so crazy to think.
Well, am I
about
right to
how
say, like,
much-
I was a guy on television, and then I
Yeah.
wasn't a guy on television?
No.
Right.
Well, But not even, it's not just that you were a guy on television. It's more than that. You have a very, and it's hard for me to click into this and remember, but you have a very strong presence.
Okay.
In a good way.
Okay,
Like it's very,
you.
I think it's very hard to miss you when you're in a room, even like your energy.
Okay. Wow. This is very flattering.
And yeah, and it's like an alluring energy. And so when someone like that, and I'm sure the TV part's a little bit of it, but I think a lot of it's just you. When someone is shining their light on you like that, it's very nice and feels really good. But now I'm like,
shine that thing
This is-
somewhere else.
Yeah, get this light. His light
God,
is
it's blinding,
bright.
man. This is blinding, man. Give it a rest.
No, don't give it a rest. But also, it's just really funny because that is a completely different person.
Well, and by the way, I definitely have. I have Kutcher when he was like the first super famous person I knew, and I couldn't stop thinking about his fame. And
But
the
again,
first times we were like the beginning of our friendship, I was distracted by what I knew about him, that he had this
Right.
magic power, which was he was famous. It was like a magic power.
But I don't think I'm saying that.
Right. And I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying I know what it's like to be aware of that with him and then completely unaware of it.
Right.
Right. Where it's like, I actually have not thought about that in 20 years or whatever it's
But
been.
do you feel a shift from when you first met me to now, or no? The
No,
same.
you're the same kid I liked back then. Yeah, I met this little brown kid hanging out at the party. I was like, who's this little girl? This little miniature person.
Really?
Yeah. What do you
You
mean?
think I'm the same?
Yeah.
Oh man.
But wait, isn't that great?
I don't know. I guess I don't know what the ideal is. I mean, yeah, I guess it is good that I'm the same.
You were just a smart gal that was around the
Yeah.
group. And I'm going to like chat with anyone who I think is smart.
Yeah. That's
I'm going to be
good.
immediately drawn to someone.
Right.
Hope I didn't offend anyone that doesn't think of themselves as
Who
smart.
doesn't identify as smart? If you don't identify as smart, I encourage you to, because you are.
You are, yeah.
there's-
Everyone's
there's-
smart.
Everyone is smart.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe
a few
not-
exceptions. But,
No, everyone is smart, not in the same way,
right.
but everyone has a type of intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that.
Yeah. I'm reading a book right now it's got a chapter about these chess players, black kids, and how the premise of the teacher was there's zero difference in aptitude, only experience,
Yeah.
and a firm belief in that, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
And then they mopped up, they kicked
Wow,
ass.
that's
of course.
awesome.
Yeah. Anything black folks do, they do better than us
I know.
pretty quickly,
Well, better
which is
than
kind
you.
of great. Yeah, better than me. Maybe not better than you. But yeah, I love it. Black folks in golf, best of all time. Fucking
Yeah.
get into Formula One. But we've been excluding you for 60 of the years you're here. And then you fucking set all the records and win
Yeah.
7 in a row. Pretty awesome.
It is.
Motocross, best rider is black. So cool.
Wow, that's awesome.
Uh-huh, it is.
Okay, this is for Idina.
Oh, wonderful. I adore Idina.
I know. I liked her so much, and I was surprised by her. Or I guess I imagine her to be like more buttoned up or something. Well, that comes up in the interview. I think maybe a lot of people have told her to be,
Oh, right.
and
You
like
get it
publicists
together.
and stuff.
Be a
Yeah.
little more proper.
Okay. You mentioned the Triple Lindy.
Yeah, do you know what that's from?
Well, I looked it up. It's song Back to School. Oh,
It's a
and
movie.
Rodney Dangerfield.
Rodney Dangerfield starred in a movie called Class. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Please.
Well, it says from the movie Back to School, 1986.
Yeah, Back to School. Sorry, not
Okay.
Class. Sorry. Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield. And he played a guy who owned Melman's Suits. And he would say in the commercials, if you want to look skinny, hang out with fatter people. That was the commercials. And so
Boy,
he was a crass.
1986.
His character was crass, right? But he was a hustler and
Yeah.
he made all this money. His kid goes away to college. He goes and joins him at college. And what we learn about him is he was a championship diver.
Oh my God.
He's
This
jumping
is
on all the
so
diving boards.
stupid.
This dumb look on his face.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, Feel free to look up Triple Lindy.
Oh, what a moment.
Back to school.
You know, that's what I was saying to some guests. I was trying to make the point that what I have dreamed about in being in comedies would be exactly that, which is everyone my age knows what a triple Lindy is. Like, it's a joke that ends up being something everyone knows,
Right.
and can forever say the triple Lindy.
Yeah.
Stupid comedy becomes a part of the lexicon.
Ubiquitous. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so her on the billboard, we couldn't remember the exact what it says on the front of the cover. And it's and then parentheses, not so new, quote, it girl.
Huh. Do you like that title? If you were her, would you want that to be the...
I guess I wouldn't bother me because it's saying like I've been around,
Right.
which she has. Okay, there's some speculation that John Travolta does have dyslexia.
Oh, yeah, I think he's known to.
Well, really?
Yes.
Well, when I typed it in,
What did it say?
it just like stuff comes up that's like says it, but it doesn't seem, I don't know. Maybe. It's maybe. Travolta issued a statement through his publicist. This was after it happened.
Really quickly. I think the reason I know the dyslexia thing is I think he has said Scientology cured him of his dyslexia, and I think Tom Cruise has said the same thing.
Oh, really?
This whole they have a tradition called word clearing,
Oh, right.
and so I want to say he has given credit. I think that's why I know there was dyslexia. But
Did you try it?
I should go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, I've been beating myself up all day. Then I thought, what would Idina Menzel say? She'd say, let it go, let it go.
Oh, pretty good. Someone write that for him.
Idina is incredibly talented. I'm so happy Frozen took home 2 Oscars Sunday night.
I would tell her to let it go, let it go.
I feel like I should play it.
Oh, yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah.
I hadn't even considered the notion that she's about to sing.
I know.
I forgot, like, even when I brought it up, I don't remember that she had to sing afterwards, so it's not very funny.
I know.
But otherwise, it would be so funny because it's such a mangling of it.
It is, but if it was me, I would just, because I'm me, I'd be like, of course. No one even knows my name. Like, how
Well, I think-
embarrassing.
right.
There will always be a special place in my heart for the movie musical and for the songs that create their most memorable moments. Here to
can tell I
perform
can
the
barely read it.
Oscar-nominated, gorgeously empowering song, Let It Go, from the Oscar-winning animated movie Frozen.
Wickedly.
Please welcome the wickedly talented one and only Adele Dazeem.
Oh, wow, it's worse than I remember. Adele Dazeem. No, that like it's not that he didn't know her name. He definitely scrambled what he was reading.
That's almost better than saying the wrong name.
It is. It is. Like you can see he was scrambling. The wicked. Maybe it's because he took such a big swing with
He
wicked.
really did.
You think he's about to fucking slam that name.
Dizzy.
The wickedly talented
Oh.
Adele. He really trails off at the beginning,
does,
and then
he
and then it's
does.
like, well, I
The
can't.
same.
I got to just commit. Play it one more time. Just the end.
Okay.
The end.
It's
Just
so funny. It shouldn't be as
It's
funny
like someone
as it
seeing
is.
someone slip on a banana peel. I mean, it's a real gap.
Let It Go, from the Oscar-winning animated movie Frozen. Please welcome the wickedly talented one and only Adele Dazeem.
Also, his face, like it's
Oh no! It looks like he's.
Oh god! Like he knows.
I hesitate in saying this, but it looked like a stroke. I know it's
I know.
not
I know. It
a
did.
popular thing to say, but you could definitely think that that's what happened there
Oh my!
because his face shut down there for a second.
I mean,
If I were her, I would illegally change my name the next day to Adele Dazeem, just as a real fucking look. What a good sense of humor I have.
oh my god, was it funny? Wow.
Prior to talking to her about it, I have always felt worse for him in that situation than her.
Same.
I'm like, someone mangles my day, whatever. But if I mangled someone's day,
Same.
The length of time I'd beat myself up. So I just immediately felt bad for him.
I know, but then when she was talking about it, I was like, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, that fucking sucks. It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
I feel bad for both of them at this point.
Yeah.
That's where I've landed.
Okay, so there was a whole album called Guilty.
Oh, there was.
Well, I did a deep dive on the different kinds of robes.
Prompted by what?
because her dad was a pajama salesman, and she was talking about she couldn't remember the exact name of it, like a silk robe.
Silk
Maybe
robe or
kimono-
silk pajamas?
robe. They also had robes.
Okay.
Kimono.
Okay.
Yeah.
Peek behind the kimono. That's the
Kimono
saying.
is traditionally floor length, but they're available in long and short styles. And they make a great accessory, whether you're relaxing at home or using them as an outer garment for a night on the town.
They're encouraging you to wear the robe on a night on the town.
If you want.
Oh my God, if you wear a robe to the scary mansion with your betrothed or your suitor.
Yeah, they'd love that.
Silky.
Oh.
Yeah.
But also the tie, you would definitely trip.
Oh, sure. Yep.
You have to be careful.
Double knot it.
Their shawl collar. Should I go through all the robes?
Sure.
I'm not gonna. But there are 10
Is there
types.
one that you love that you want to tell
Shawl
me the name?
collar.
Shawl collar. A
Okay.
baller. A shawl collar.
We also.
Wish I was a little bit taller. Wish I was a baller. Wish I had a rabbit in a hat with a sand. Wish I had a 6'4" father. What line am I supposed to sing
Shawl
now?
collar.
Okay. I wish I was a shawl collar, a little bit taller. Skilo.
Oh my God. Okay, I need you to do some fast math.
All right.
Because we were talking about how old people actually were, where in our heads they seem so old.
Yep.
We were talking about the movie Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Now, that movie came out in 1962.
Okay.
Okay? Betty Davis was born in 1908.
Okay. What, 62? Mm-hmm. And, so she was 54.
Yeah, that's young.
Yeah. I'm almost there.
No,
knock,
you
knock,
have
knock
6
on wood.
years. Yeah, for real. Now that you said
Is
that.
that a knock on wood?
Yeah. Okay, Joan Crawford was born in. Oh my God.
Oh, my star.
She was born in 1900 question mark.
Oh, wow.
It's 1900 question mark. There's a note. Crawford's
Unsentient.
year of birth is uncertain, as various sources claim 1904, 1905, 1906, and 1908. Crawford herself widely claimed 1908, the date on her tombstone.
So probably earlier.
But Crawford's daughter states 1904 twice in the biography Mommy Dearest.
Well, let's go with 1906. That's a compromise.
Okay.
She's claiming 4, and mom's claiming 8. Let's go with 6.
Okay.
All right, so she's born in 1906. And what math are we doing?
1962.
Okay, well, that's going to be 56.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they're not old,
No. But back then,
but back then
I
they
was
were
old. You know, the age thing with the teachers is one thing, but then the other one that just knocked me out cold was I had not seen my 7th and 8th grade teacher, Larry LeClaire, who was also our basketball coach, Larry LeClaire.
Right.
Larry LeClaire was 6'6", I would say.
Yeah.
And I was walking through the grocery store when I was like 26, bumped into him.
Yeah.
I was taller than him.
What?
Yeah, absolutely. I was like a ½ inch taller than Larry LeClaire. I was like, oh my God, that just made me realize what I look like to 14-year-olds. I could have never
Right.
imagined I looked as tall as Larry LeClaire looked when I was 14.
Yeah, you thought he was a giant.
I thought he was 6'6". Like in my
Yeah.
mind, he's 6'6".
Well, you thought so many things that were wrong
Well,
at that age.
what else did I?
That 10% of your school was in
Was in
special education
needs.
program. And really it was like 10 kids, which we confirmed.
Yeah, why? Well, I wonder if it's because they were in charge of so many tasks at the school. So
Right.
your interaction was like asymmetrical to the population, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. But well, I've already talked about their duties. Collected, Pete Schmidt collected the attendance in the morning. And then Clark and Pete and Nicole, they were doing a lot of the custodial work in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
You don't need to know all the
I don't
duties.
think so. I don't think so. Okay, hold on, because I'm looking for something that's lost. So you, I think, accidentally made a joke. Well, not a joke, but you were saying that if Timothy Chalamet, you use it as an example, and you're like, if Timothy Chalamet got into hip hop, I'd be like, okay, and it would have to be really, really, really good.
Yeah, to get me in.
Exactly. Now, turns out,
No.
oh wow, he's actually good at dancing.
Now chop, hey, now chop, hey, now chop, hey, I'm talking real Timmy Tim. It's time to do my dance, Timmy Tim, pull up your pants. Voulez-vous shit, I think my way just see from France. It's Lil Timmy Tim. I am a
Is this like a high school talent show? Wow. This is kind of career ending, isn't it?
Now, you know
okay.
what? You know how I have access to that?
Why? Internet?
Yes, but Emma went to high school with Timothy Chalamet.
No.
He takes off his shirt and it says text me with his phone number written
Oh,
on
he
it.
loved
She says
action.
I went to high school. She says I went to high school with him, but this video has gone since viral. So I guess people have seen it.
Yes.
But so weird that you said that.
It is very weird.
Yep.
It's very, very weird. But mostly all I can concentrate on is how grateful I am that no one was videoing me in high
you
school.
believe?
I was
I
thinking
know.
I remember we went to 7th grade camp where Aaron and I fell in love. There was kind of like a talent show thing at the very end of it.
Okay.
At the end of camp, we had to put on a little show.
Yeah.
And I ended up doing impersonations of all of our teachers, which was
that's
it
cute.
went really well. In fact, probably my first moment of performing.
Ah, yeah.
I have a memory of what that looked like. I'm sure if I saw a videotape of it right now, I would be mortified.
I know. And you probably were a little racist.
There's a photo of me in the yearbook, 7th grade yearbook, at 7th grade camp on stage, and I'm doing the Pee Wee Herman dance.
Which is what?
Yeah. There's a photo of me in the but that's as close as it gets to being able to revisit that.
That's really cute.
It was what a wonderful experience that was. People laughing. Oh,
Yeah, I
that was the
know.
first.
I know. That first laugh.
Wow, I haven't
hard to
really
forget.
thought of that, but
That's
just
really
sweet nip off that little
I know.
bottle, and boy, you just can't wait
It's
to do it
that-
again.
That
Elixir.
bug is real. When they say you got bit by the acting bug, they mean like it's a virus. Like you never get rid of it. It
Right.
stays in your blood.
Yes.
Speaking of, I have 24 mosquito bites right now.
From where?
I was at Erica and Charlie's house and they had a lot of mosquitoes. Then I went somewhere else the next day that had a ton of mosquitoes, and I'm
Okay.
covered.
Okay.
My
I
leg.
just hung some mosquito zappers
You
all around
did?
my pergola.
Oh, good. 'Cause
And by the cold plunge.
well, since we're hanging out this weekend, I'm glad
That's right.
you
You're
did.
gonna let me clear out the mosquitoes first. Back to that high school video.
Okay.
I want to say that I have a real objection, and I think it's unethical when people released audition tapes, which they do.
But sometimes they're great.
Okay, well, if someone wanted to do it, like Drew Barrymore for E.T.,
Yeah.
that's kind of worthwhile. But that's generally not like
Yeah.
the audition. You're like in
Oh
a
my God.
chair. It's
I
just
know.
it's such a vulnerable in your.
It is. I agree.
I just feel like it's so unethical for people to put that stuff
But
out
they
there.
really only do it right if you got the part.
No, there have been many leaks of like from casting directors tape collections where all these things come out, and they're not flattering. They're not to
Yeah.
celebrate the person who got the role. It's like look at their audition. And I almost feel that way about posting people's like high school talent show. I just feel like that is such a moment in time at
It is.
17 years old.
It is.
It's not fair for
It's
someone.
not fair, but it's also, I hope people can just take it in the right way, which is like we all were that. We were all
Yeah.
dum-dums and we made tons of mistakes, and they're going to
I just feel like you should be able to make that. Like, I wouldn't
You
want this
should.
knowing, like, if you grow up laughing at tape of people in high school from some years back,
Yeah.
you're definitely going to be less inclined to participate in your high school thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't like that it dissuades people from living out loud because it's going to be captured
But
and
that's-
ridiculed and scrutinized.
Unfortunately, that is the current culture.
I know. I don't like it.
Everything is.
And there's an ethical thing there that I feel like is not,
do you want me to
not
cut
good.
that? Because I
Oh,
think
no.
okay.
Well, that's a great question.
I don't want to.
I know. Yeah.
Because to me,
We're in a pickle.
I like
We're back
seeing-
at Taylor Swift right now. We're looking at the line. There's no way we're getting through it before TS gets
no way.
on. But we have to get merch. Be dead if we don't get merch.
We'll be dead.
So what do?
No, I believe in our armchairs. Also, most of our, I don't think we have like 5-year-old armchairs yet. Like, I think most of them are out of high school.
Okay. Yeah, probably
Most.
I would think the vast majority are not.
So I don't think they're
Listening.
personally going to be dissuaded, but I hope that they can hear it like we can, which is like, oh, high school's yikes. High school's yikes for everyone.
Yes.
And we all make mistakes.
I was going to take you on a little tangent,
Okay.
which is really funny you'd say no one in high school is listening, because it just all hit me. I don't know if it was being back in Michigan or somewhere else.
Okay.
But what I realized is I have not been in anything in a long enough period that young people would have seen, right? Like first I was in punk, young
Parenthood,
people
maybe.
watched that, right? But Parenthood's 10 years
Yeah.
away. So if you're a 16-year-old kid right now, you were 6.
Yeah.
So I've been off TV long enough that you could put me in a high school and probably no one's going to recognize me.
Right.
Which
And
is
how
really
does that
interesting.
make you feel?
It makes me just recognize the reality of time passing and generations, and that I'm in a it makes me cognizant of the fact that I'm moving through these chapters of life.
Yeah.
And ultimately you get irrelevant. Like this is what my mother tells me all the time that she's struggling with. It's like you have so much relevance in your life because you're the provider and you're this and that, and you're taking kids to the school, and you have so much relevance.
Yeah.
And then increasingly no one's relying on you. They don't think your opinion's very interesting.
Yeah, that's a hard shift.
And it's just a slow decline into irrelevance, which is heartbreaking.
But you have to build that for yourself. This is only if you're making your relevance in this world about other people's
Well, I can tell you
reliance on you and
this.
opinion on you.
I made the observation, and I did not have the thought, I need to get myself in something to keep this going, right? Like it didn't cross my mind like, I need to do something that skews younger.
Yeah.
I just was like, I recognize that's gone. That part of my life where young people know me is gone because I'm a certain age. It's just a very, interesting experience.
Wow.
That's a new segment called Dax Evaluates His Own Fame.
Oh, it's like
It's just the
worst
grossest. That's literally what I just
ever.
did.
No, it can be you evaluate time, the passage of time.
Granddaddy time.
Old
Grandfather
granddaddy's
time.
kisses.
Oh, sweet, sweet kisses.
All right. Well, that's pretty much it.
All right.
And I guess we'll be hanging out this weekend.
I got to get rid of them skeeters.
Yeah, you got to.
First step.
I
And
was.
then I got to get some pop outs because it's the season and you like pop outs. We got to get Farrier's sturdy hips over here for you to squeeze on when the pop outs happen in the mosquito free environment.
Actually,
I wonder if he had nail marks in his hips the next
it
morning.
wasn't his hips necessary. You're so hung
Well, what
up
would
on
you
his
grab?
hips.
His waist? That would be
No, I
way
was like,
weirder if
his
you're behind
arm.
him.
It was
Oh,
like
his
the back.
arm.
It was kind of like his
Okay.
arm.
I forgot about his
maybe
arm.
his
But he's
hip
so
at
tall.
one.
There we go.
He's
We might have got a little
I
hip.
don't
Like
know.
his wrist, maybe.
His hip.
No,
or his
no,
wrist.
no. Because he was also holding dictaphone. So his arm was bent. So it was like
Dictaphone.
He calls it that, but I don't.
he calls
I
it
know he
that.
does.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
Okay. Was he
Guys,
making the show in
he
1930?
He has been doing this much longer than we have, to be fair to him.
So long that he's still calling it a dictaphone.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that is why. Anywho, all right.
All right.
That's it. Love you.
Love you. Happy Halloween, everybody. This was recorded on Halloween.